everyone! Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Welcome to another live stream episode of Ask V. It is a segment from my YouTube channel, Channel V. Today is November 20, 2020. It's a Friday! TGIF po sa inyong lahat. Thank God it's Friday. I hope that wherever you are in the world, whether you're watching the live version of this stream or the recorded video, I hope you're all doing well. I just want to express my gratitude that despite me being inactive in doing live streams for you, since napaka-busy ko po sa aking mga trabaho, the channel still gained additional subscribers for the past month. And so from the bottom of my heart, thank you to the 652 people and counting who are still subscribed to the channel. And rest assured that every time na may panahon ako, I will continue to upload quality and sensible contents for you guys, even though our community is still growing. And in case na hindi pa po kayo subscribe sa aking channel, please do so. Look it up on YouTube. It's Channel V. And if you could see it on the screen, it's easy to find or look up on YouTube. So please do subscribe to my channel. It's Channel V. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. All right. So for this episode, I will talk about personal resiliency and academic grit, or how we may survive the online phase of education in the country. And as early as now, I would like to say hello to the people who's joined the live. Hello to Beatriz Pinero, Jamil Garcia, Sir PJ Sarmiento, congratulations on your graduation. Proud of you, mate. RJ Guevara is also here, and Ate Leia Ansierto or Asierto is also watching us right now. So kagaya po ng sabi ko kanina, pag-uusapan po natin ngayong gabing ito ay personal resiliency at academic grit at kung paano ba natin masosurvive ang online classes na meron tayo ngayong panahon ng pandemic. Later on, hopefully, I will be joined by two of my resident co-hosts, si Sir Drew at saka si Justin from the US, para mabigyan nila tayo ng iba't ibang perspective and also opinion regarding our topic. So just to give you a backgrounder, although alam naman na nating lahat kung ano yung topic, no? Just recently, our country, besides the still ongoing battle against COVID-19, faced the devastating power of several typhoons. Nandyan si Rolly, nandyan si Shawnee, and so on. No? At yung pinaka-recent nga si Ulysses, na talaga namang napakaraming tao ang naapektuhan. And like always, as Filipinos, we've remained resilient. No, bangon agad, laban agad, kahit gaano pa kabigat yung problemang pinagdadaanan natin. We've been able to bounce back rather slowly to normalcy. For sure, the aftermath is discouraging, but we are known for our undying stamina. Malakas tayo bilang mga Pilipino that whatever we face and whatever we go through, we can and we will make it. And then on top of the typhoons that, hit the Philippines, presently, our educational system also goes through a shift in landscape. Alam naman natin that from the traditional face-to-face education, from primary to tertiary level, ngayon, iba na yung modality ng education natin. So we have the blended learning, which involves both the synchronous and the asynchronous modality, and then we have the modular modality. All right. And then some school, they already started their academic year in August, while others in October. And the common impression after 3 months or so of the new modalities is that either they are ineffective, not well thought of, pro-rich, they're momentary solutions only, and that they do not address the real problem. So to be fair to all sides, no, yung mga pro and against the online classes, to be blunt about it, nobody was really prepared for COVID-19. No one single nation in the world, no matter how advanced their technology is or no matter how rich they are in terms of their academic resources, they were still caught off guard just like us. And I could attest to that because I've been attending seminars or webinars from Cambridge University, and every time speakers would begin to talk, they would always say that they were not prepared as well. So, hindi lang po talaga tayong mga Pilipino ang hindi naging prepared sa pandemyang ito, but everybody else across the world. However, being the third world country that we still are, no, it is nothing but normal to see the disparities and the lapses of these newly implemented schemes. It is nothing but normal that most of us complain rather than adapt. Obviously, there are pros and cons to the devised online learning schemes of the Education Department, and we shall talk about them tonight as well. And to join me in discussing those pros and cons, including the tips as to how we could survive online classes, I am now adding to the stream my homeboy from Virginia, USA. He's also attending his online classes, so definitely he will give us foreign perspective when it comes to these topics. So please help me welcome my homie, JT. What up, bro?
JT, oh, that's the first. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good evening to us here in the
Hi.
Philippines.
Yeah,
How are you?
tired.
Thank you again for joining me and for saying yes once again.
Sure, no problem at all. I love
All
this.
right. Yeah, me too. We missed doing this though. It's been a month since the last one.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So you've heard my intro, I hope, and we'll talk about personal resiliency, academic grit, and the tips as to how we could all survive the online classes, either that we are the teacher or we are the student.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so to begin with that, let's talk about the pros and cons, the upside and the downside of online learning or online classes. Starting off with the upside first. Okay, the advantages of online learning. So I'll flash on the screen right now the first advantage, which is that students and teachers can stay home, hence their safety and protection from getting the virus. Any thoughts on this?
It's true. They're more. There's a high chance that they can be safer than going outside and risking of catching the virus or be exposed from the virus. I agree on this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is definitely an upside of having classes online because we could not risk our health, right? Either we are the teacher or the student, it is safer to actually conduct classes in our own houses rather than the academic freeze that everybody is requesting for since, not everybody could afford online classes. But definitely one upside of having online classes is that we are safe from acquiring the virus. That is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
'Di ba? Unless talagang matigas na lang ang ulo natin that even if our work is at home and even if our classes are conducted in our own homes, lumalabas pa rin tayo doing whatnot.
Usually it's going out for the essentials, like grocery shopping or just getting the toiletries, like go to like get bulk items. So.
Yeah, hopefully that people go out for those reasons and not for anything else. Otherwise, nadi-defeat yung purpose of having the online classes if we just spend our times outside our houses and being vulnerable or exposed to the virus.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
All right, so that's the first upside or the first advantage of conducting online classes. The second upside is that the academic year was able to push forward no matter how unstable. In the Philippines, more particularly, ang daming contention. Like Justin, people are split when it comes to whether the online classes are favorable or not. Some would say, dapat hindi na muna nagkaroon ng academic year for about a year or two hanggat hindi pa stable yung virus or hanggat hindi pa na completely eradicate yung virus. While other would say, why would we freeze the academic year when there is another option? What's your thought on this? What's the status in the US?
It's the same. We actually just keep on going. Actually, when it all began, I had a class that one professor said that we will go on online lectures, but that's only for an emergency. So he had a business meeting, so we continued class online. So even if it all began, we were already prepared in just that one class. But at the same time, our education has to keep going no matter what, because if you are held back a year, that means you got to pick up the pace of what you just left behind. So
Mhm.
what I would rather do is just keep going, even though, regardless of if it's online or in person, your education is has to keep going.
Mhm. And I think that's an intelligent point that you raised. Now you just have to keep going. Like, yeah, the solution or the option presented to us may not be so stable, or it has not proven its efficiency yet. But what will you do in a year? I mean, as a student or as a teacher, what will you do in a year? You couldn't even look for a job if you're a student because it's the pandemic, right? If you wanted to stabilize yourself in terms of your finances, help out the family for a while and stop your education for the moment because you're not supposed to attend your classes face to face, then what will you do? Tama nga naman. And so it was a better option to just have a solution, a momentary or a temporary solution rather than spending the entire year not being productive. Yeah, so that's another upside. And then the third upside is that parents can monitor their children if they're attending their classes or not. Hence, they can track the progress of their children. In contrast to when the education landscape was face to face, of course, kapag pumasok na yung mga estudyante, parents would not know completely kung talagang nasa classroom yung bata, if, the child is performing inside the classroom and whatnot. But because it's online, classes are held at home, and if parents are not working either, or if they're working, most of the time naman nasa bahay sila, they'd be able to monitor their children, especially the young ones. Unlike in college though, syempre, it's independent learning, you get my point. The maturity level should be there already for the student. So it's not necessary for teachers to monitor for parents to monitor their children. Pero, this is another upside nga for those young learners, especially, lalo na kung hindi online learning modality, kundi modular modality. Do you have that in the US, Justin?
Modular.
Like for younger learners? Yeah, modular modality. Like teachers will not teach young learners online. Rather, they have modules to read and answer. And they're being helped out by their parents.
That's actually old school learning. I had that when I was younger. There are times there's a session that my parents will, or even having a tutor, they will show me how this and that. Usually it's like in grade school, but what nowadays is actually just online, because there's a section when you can be taught in a way, but nowadays
Mm-hmm.
all synchronous. So for children, that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because for college students,
Mm-hmm.
it's different. It could be synchronous or asynchronous. That you have you can choose your own classes, but you have to follow your classes. Or there's a class that you don't really need, but you really have to take it. So
Mm-hmm. It's a good thing that you mentioned in the US, it's an old thing. Like, having modules at home that students would have to read and answer. In the Philippines, I would say it's relatively a new thing. This is actually the first time that children are given modules at home, and then their parents would be the one to guide them in understanding the modules and answering the exercises attached to the modules. So the adjustment really for Filipinos is a lot, and people complain a lot about this new modality.
they shouldn't complain, because they can learn at the same time with them, so they can spend more time with them.
Yeah, ideally they shouldn't complain, but you know how Filipino culture is. And to help us more with this discussion, again, please welcome one of my resident co-hosts, Stu, and my guest for tonight as well. We have Sir Drew. What's up, brother?
Hello, everyone, and to all of our viewers and listeners. How are you? And dude, I love your hair. you are, uh,
Thank you.
both of you are sporting of your locks all all good and well.
But we
Thank
family.
you very
Let me
much
guess.
for noticing.
Yeah, let me guess, Justin, you just woke up.
Oh yes, 15 minutes ago.
It's a good morning in Virginia.
6
Yeah,
a.m.
All right. Now we're talking about the upside of online classes, and we're already on the third one. And it's all about parents being able to monitor their children because learning takes place at home. And Justin made a good point a while back when he said, na in the US pala, it's, the modular modality is not a new thing in contrast to in our country, which is relatively a new thing for most of us, particularly sa young learners. Yeah, so that's the third upside. And then we have a comment right here from Jejel Aboy. Actually, it's a hashtag. I think he's being sarcastic or humorous about this. He said, hashtag, nasaan ang presidente? Ha 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 ha. Just in case you're not familiar with this hashtag, Justin, just recently we were hit by Ulysses, the typhoon, and apparently the president is being blamed for not being present physically, literally, as a traditional media and social media would show the public. So yun yung pinaka premise ng hashtag na to. And I guess Aboy is also trying to connect this hashtag to the situation in our educational system. And then we have a hello here from Gail Reyes Calma. She said, "Good evening, guys. Good evening too. Thank you for watching the live stream. Thank you for joining us." All right, so yeah, let's go to the fourth upside because there are a lot of things we will talk about, and I just want to quickly go over these upsides and downsides. Traffic was lessened, relatively lessened, because now students no longer need to commute from home to school. Right? But I said relatively kasi in Angeles City and other cities in Pampanga or even in Metro Manila, it is still heavy traffic as usual.
Actually, yeah, I was about to say that um, maybe when the initial lockdowns were announced, maybe that's the time that you could say that yeah, there was really uh, even zero traffic, if you so to speak. But now that there are some areas, some cities, some provinces that are a little bit light already in terms of um, um, allowing people to commute with their vehicles. Medyo dumadami na yung mga yung nag-increase na yung traffic natin.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for example, I think my friend a while ago posted na, sabi daw niya, remember, uh, uh, I think he was in EDSA, and then he posted that, remember the traffic, the heavy traffic that we had 8 months ago? And then, dot, and then it's like, it's back. And then, okay, so, um, yeah, you're actually correct with what you said. It is relative.
Yeah, but in comparison to the status quo before the pandemic, there is somehow a breathing space sa mga daan natin because, students are no longer commuting every day. Or even teachers.
Yeah. Because
Right.
I'm not sure if Justin is aware of it. There are some areas or there are some roads or streets here, for example, in Angeles. I'm not sure in Magaling if you still have them. May mga eskinita na they're still blocked so that vehicles will not pass through. So mostly you can only drive through main roads so that you could move from one place to another.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And while we're talking about the upsides and downsides of the online classes, I want to encourage our viewers as well to type in their ideas too kung ano yung mga sa tingin ninyong advantages and disadvantages ng nai-implement na online classes or online learning, not only in the Philippines, but actually in most parts of the world. Okay? So that's the fourth one. Let's go to the fifth one. Waking up early to prepare for school and long hours of commute was definitely eradicated. Well, we still need to wake up early, but not too early.
Yeah.
Like in my case, when I was still working, I had to wake up at 4 a.m. just to go to Angeles City because, if I wouldn't do that, I'd definitely get caught up in heavy traffic. So, it was really, oh my gosh, a huge sacrifice on my end when I was still working there.
Yeah. But I don't wake up at every 4 o'clock. But I somehow can't relate.
Yeah, so now, I mean, if you have a 7 a.m. class or a 7:30 a.m. class, you could wake up at 7:25 and not bother if you took shower or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some people do that, pero ako, I actually get up early and shower and get breakfast so you can act wide awake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Actually, when we talk about the tips, there's one item in there which talks about this part. And so I shall not touch too much on this one para meron tayong space later to talk about it some more. Yeah, but definitely this is one perk, right? Of having online classes at home. You could just wake up 5 minutes before your class if you want to. No breakfast, no shower, no brushing of teeth, no problem.
Yeah. I think we could just synthesize it as you're able to hold your time well. It depends on your pacing basically. If you want to do something else, or you like to multitask, then it's you're all good.
Mm-hmm. We have a comment right here from Sir Edward Inang. Sorry, Drew, your face right now is not seen on the screen, but eventually it will. Sabi niya, good evening po, Ma'am Kath, Sir Drew, Justin, and to all the viewers. I'm sorry I can't join tonight. I am so tied up from my work. You know naman, nevertheless, still good to listen to the three of you. We got ya. No
Yeah.
worries.
Yep. No worries. No worries.
Yeah. And we would appreciate it if you could share your thoughts to us while you're listening to us as well. Whatever you're doing right now, I hope you're getting through it just right. Thank you so much, Sir Inong. All right. So, yeah. So, that's number 5. One of the upsides. Another upside or advantage of the online classes is that access to the additional information is easier because of the internet. Because why not? Like, this may be a little biased on my end because when I was in college and education was traditional and the internet was not so much of a fad back then, it was just beginning. We had to do everything from scratch. Like if we needed to do our research, we had to go to the libraries, use catalog cards. If we had queries, if we had confusions, we had to make collect to our professor just to ask for extra discussion. But this time, because of the online classes, if there are some parts of the discussion that we don't understand, we could simply go to the internet, type the keyword, and voila, we have the information right in front of us.
It's so convenient.
Exactly. That's the keyword, actually. It's very convenient for students. Right, Justin?
Yeah, and I'm just like, back in the day for me too. I feel the same way. Our most reliable resource is the library. You actually have to go in there for us, but look for each book. But right now, because kids nowadays have more of the resources. Tsaka if the lecture is online, it's recorded, so you have the time to actually look back at it, or even just if you forgot to say if you don't remember what your teacher was saying, you can just click in right there. It's ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the keyword that was actually said by Sir Drew was convenience.
Yeah.
No? Talagang everything right now, right at the tip of your fingers, agad available.
Also,
Although,
Unlike before. Yeah, sure.
who's gonna say it first? Is it you or me? Anyways, no,
Go ahead.
but we have to emphasize as well with a little bit of caution that even though information is readily available for all of us because of the internet, there are a lot of fake news and misinformation that we need to regulate. So, especially for students, it's not just you saw a website answering your question. You really need to double check first and foremost if all of the answers or the article or the content is something that is reliable as well as valid. But nonetheless, if you have that kind of mindset, it's very easy for you to navigate across the internet and be able to get or you acquire the information that you really need for answering requirements or assignments and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. And I actually understand your point when you said not everything on the internet is relevant or helpful to students. And so later when we talk about the downside, I will want to touch on the topic of digital literacy too. So for now, let's
Yes.
take a look at it on a general perspective that because of the internet, almost everything or almost every information is accessible. Right? So that's one perk. And then number 7, everything is provided. Now, this is from the perspective or the end of the teacher. Everything is provided, notes, lectures, discussion, even the answers to assignments. Basically, it's spoon feeding, even in college. Not to generalize all institutions, but in theory, this is becoming or this has becoming the practice because of the consideration na students, not all of them have access or has access to the internet, so might as well provide the lectures to them already para hindi na sila mahirapang maghanap. All they have to do is read and so and so. Your thoughts?
Yes.
Is this the same case with you, Justin, or it's not spoon feeding in America?
Like I said, it's a different perspective in the education system, that from grade school up to middle school and high school and then college. I think people who can agree with me and who are in America, yes, everything is already provided for us, like the lectures, the notes, the assignments. Regardless, it's all online. So yeah, the answers to assignments, it's debatable, because sometimes if it's a short answer essay, the professor or teaching assistant, they are the ones who are grading your own work.
Sir Drew?
As it is a modular, as the lessons are modular, yeah, basically everything is there. So it's compressed, it's synthesized. I think you would agree with me with your Ma'am Kat na talagang Ma'am Kat, no? V. You would agree here, V here na it's just a matter of the one reading the module to understand and comprehend. And for teachers is to facilitate that so that you will be able to lead the students to how you want them to explore the module. That's why, yeah, it's already there, but what lacks is the effort, the work, and that's where you should come in. And it should be a collaborative effort with the student as well as the instructor or the teacher or the professor. And I thank you.
Actually, yeah, later when we talk about the tips, we'll talk about the collaboration that you're talking about too, para mas klaro sa ating mga viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, sa ating mga viewers, we appreciate it that you're watching and listening to us right now, but we would appreciate it more if you would join the discussion. Let us hear your thoughts. Ano sa tingin niyo ang pros and cons ng online learning? This is the best platform for you to voice it out. No, nobody will judge you for whatever opinion you have about online learning. Right? So that's number 7. Let's take a look at number 8. Parents do not have to spend for the allowance of their children. Rather, they may opt to convert this allowance to gadget and internet expenses. So kung dati, in the traditional setup, students are given allowance day in, day out. Ngayon, dahil nasa bahay lang sila, hindi nila kailangan mag-commute, hindi nila kailangan ng baon. So yung allowance na sana ibibigay sa kanila ng parents nila, pwede na lang i-allocate kung sakaling wala pa silang gadget or kung, alam mo yun, additional expenses sa internet connection. And that's actually a practical way to look at it kasi for some, ang dinidebate nila or ang argument nila, wala kaming pambili ng gadget, wala kaming panghanap ng connection ng internet, so how will we be able to attend online classes? No? I cannot blame them for that argument though kasi hindi nga naman talaga lahat kayang ma-afford ang mga gadget at ang mga internet connectivity na yan. It's just that we're also aware naman that for those poorest of the poor talaga na hindi kayang makakonect sa internet because of this and that, the government, the LGU, no, they're providing ways naman din on how to help them. And there are different modalities. So just in case hindi nila kayang internet connection, wala silang pambili ng gadget, there's the modular modality. And for what I know, may mga LGU din na nagpo-provide ng gadget. 'Di ba? At saka mga hub, internet hub, na pwedeng kumonek ang mga estudyante for free. Right? So if you're looking at it, marami ng dinevise na paraan on how to make sure that if not everybody, at least most students will have access to online learning. Although sabi ko nga, kahit unstable, at least nandoon yung effort. Right? In the US, would there be instances na may mga estudyante, Justin, na walang internet, or almost everybody in the US has the capacity to go online?
Because in the U.S. there's different states. Sometimes they don't. They're in the rural side, the urban side. So urban side they're most connected. But if they have enough access, and like I say, it's for Virginia, it's already available. I think maybe from where I'm from, because we're in the northern section of Virginia, where we have access to it, and our communities are actually helpful. But I can see that because like elementary schools, they have to use the school's computers, so their expenses go to there. And check out, I mean, they don't pay for the internet access, but what they pay for is the learning access.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I see where you come from.
All right, sige. Before we continue to number 10, I just want to say a quick hello to the people who joined the live stream right now. We have Fritz Dominic Tayag, Eileen Manalastas, Janela May Valle, Ryan Macapagal. Hello, Tito Ryan. Jel Lumanlan, Joy Anunciacion, Lala, hello. Aileen Ray, hello. Micah Bell Rivera is also watching. Bjorn Kiambao, hello, mate. Jessamate Tamonan Corpus is also watching. Juvie Tanghuangco is watching. Yumul Chu Vino Chino is also watching. Shantrina Malit, Danica Mejia, Kate Kaluweng. Hello, Ma'am Kate. Rhea Lansang, Jejel Aboy, Melvin De Leon, Ana Graciela Sarmiento Santos, Ana May Basilio Mendoza, Tita Eileen or Ate Ay Tulabot, Cariza Manlapa Salonga, and Joanna Lansangan are now watching the live stream. So that's the 8th of the upsides or the advantages of online learning. Let's go to the last one. All right. Learning and teaching at the comfort of your own home. Who would not love that? I mean, I personally enjoy my time working at home. I don't know about you two, but I like staying at home.
I had to pause for that for a bit because there's a part of me who was saying yes, and there's a part of me that was saying no. So maybe we'll be able to expound the no part later on because there's it's part of the other downside. But in terms of working from home, you're actually correct that you are in the premise of your home. So if you would like to, for example, on my end, near my work area, I have a desk full of some snacks that I could eat. So I could just reach my hand over, and then while I am teaching, I'm eating something. So that's one thing. So and you can't do that when you are in the workplace. So you can't just go to the canteen or cafeteria and just for the sake of you having a snack. So in terms of comfort, I guess that's where it becomes beneficial. And you're actually correct that who doesn't want to work at home in such light? Okay?
What about you, Justin? Do you miss going out? You'd rather have your your education outside?
It has some ups and downs for me. For the up, it's comfortable. I'm very well relaxed when I'm not just like stressed out in front of people. A lot of people who are introverts are just they don't like to participate. They just want to just follow the lectures. But at the same time, you're actually in your own home. with your own privacy. And for the downside, it's just that you're distracted. So that's
Mm.
like, and I like to be in an environment that I can focus in instead of just like hearing people around me or my bed right there. So it's a distraction. If I'm that lazy, I'll just. But part of me is like, you'll get up, be productive, and so that's why I have my section on my desk here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so again, meron siyang good side, meron siyang bad side. But in general, our keyword here would be the word comfort.
Yeah,
Because we're in our own home, so we could do everything we want at any rate, at any time, right? So
basically.
those are just some of the perks, no, the upsides of online classes. Now let's take a look at the other side of the coin, and we shall discuss naman the downsides. Eto, we could debate about this. Not everyone is digitally literate. Cause why not?
um, I think let me start with this one. With the current generation that we have, they are referred to as digital natives, and
Mhm.
um, even though I'm not sure if the viewers will also agree with me or if they have the same experience or they have the same thoughts, even though we quote unquote consider them or label them maybe as digital natives, we cannot be so overconfident of of laying that title to them, because yeah, they are they're born in a time wherein the internet is very convenient for them. There are a lot of technological innovations that are readily available if you are, I don't know, financially ready to
You have
avail
the
of them.
means.
If you
Mhm.
have the means for it. But still, um, sabihin natin you have the latest iPhone, for example, but you don't know how to maximize the utility, how to maximize the function of that gadget. So,
Mm-hmm.
kailangan pa rin natin siyang i-highlight that not everyone is digitally literate. Okay? Um, Kailangan pa rin ng konti pang push for us to understand certain matters, like even in how to navigate across the internet, uh, where to go, what to do, and don't even start with the how to communicate with people properly through emails and messaging apps. So those matters
Netiquette,
are
yeah.
things, yes, etiquette, those things that are that needs to be developed, especially now that we are experiencing the what we call now normal.
Hmm. I guess what you're trying to say is knowing how to operate a cell phone or a mobile phone is one thing, but maximizing the technology that we have is another thing,
Yeah,
right? And
I think
using the technology in a good way is another thing
yeah,
too.
I think maybe just to add up, parang it's not enough for you. It's not enough. It's not enough knowledge for you to take pictures. It's not enough knowledge for you to send messages. It's not enough knowledge for you to edit certain pictures. It's important that you also know how to, for example, how to
Hmm.
make Google Forms, for instance. How do you
Mm-hmm.
establish using um, video conferences? Yan, yung ganun mga
Hmm.
bagay. The skills, yun yung, hindi na siya all about knowledge. It's all about the skills as well para masabi
Hmm.
natin na, okay, I am prepared and I'm ready uh, for this particular concern or issue.
Yeah, and if you really think about it, no, in theory, sana ang naging practice prior to rolling out the online modalities, both teachers and students should have been trained doon sa mga platforms na ginagamit or LMS na ginagamit ng iba't ibang institutions. But, I could only speak for the things that I know. I'm not generalizing all institutions. Baka ang nangyari kasi, nag-start lang ang academic school year, ito ang ni-roll out na LMS, ito ang ni-roll out na platform, but there was no training done for both teachers and students. So, pagdating nung, uh, start ng klase, nangangapa lahat. So, we know what a laptop is, we know what the phone is, we know how to navigate it, but using the platform itself, we don't know exactly the ins and outs of it. So, napakahirap mag-adjust. So, you learn the parts of the platform as you go through the mistakes that you have to meet along the way. Right?
Hmm.
What about in your
I would
case,
actually
Justin?
For us,
agree, just
we use Blackboard, so that's where we all communicate with the teachers and students. So if we do like group work, it's all access there. We have a section that says my groups, and then that's where we can communicate. But at the same time, I remembered one time we were in a class session. Professor was saying, "I'm not really what we say tech savvy. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can hear me. I don't know what to do with this. Or am I on? Can you guys hear me? Let's try this out." So sometimes they have to use other platforms, like for us is a Zoom. Zoom is more widely known and actually widely used, but at the same time they don't have the advantages what us Blackboard what we use, because say Blackboard is actually under schools, so we're already monitored. So if you
Mm-hmm.
you can tell how long you actually use it. So
But
and
as a student, were you trained to
oh,
use the Blackboard or the Zoom?
but now Zoom no, but it's just like a meeting room. So
Mm-hmm.
you already know how to uh, navigate yourself through, like, because actually there's instructions actually for us in Blackboard where to access it, how do you
Mm-hmm.
what you install, what you uninstall, what you have to make sure if it's on, like your camera, your audio. So at the same time, we Blackboard is actually our
Mm-hmm.
most reliable source to learn. And like you said, you asked me if we were trained. Yes, I was trained even before it all happened when I was in elementary school. So we made sure our community
Mm-hmm.
know about Blackboard.
And actually, dito hati yung sentiment ko eh. Like, if we say that not everybody is digitally literate, ang dali lang kasing i-educate ang sarili ngayon. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know how to navigate Zoom. So I'll go to YouTube. I'll watch videos as to how to navigate Zoom. I don't know how to navigate Google Forms. I'll go to YouTube and try to learn how to navigate it on my own kahit walang formal training. Kaya lang, that's not an excuse not to provide formal training to students and teachers alike para mas maintindihan nila yung learning system na ginagamit ng institution. So that pagdating ng content delivery, minor concerns na lang yung, sir, paano ina-navigate ito? Ma'am, paano po i-attach ito? You know, those kinds of details na minor but they have a big impact dun sa learning process ng bata.
yeah.
Okay.
I think what you're basically referring to is that there's proper instruction involved so that they'll be very much aware of what to do and what not to do. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Importante kasi yun eh. Yung sinasabi ng those small things, yung pag-attach man lang, paano kung na-attach nila mali? Or na-attach nila nag-attach sila pero mali pala yung file. Yung mga ganun mga bagay. So,
Mm-hmm.
when you consider yourself as literate kasi it's not just sabi ko nga, it's not just about knowledge and it's not just as well in terms of the skill. And let me correct that yung sinabi ko kanina, but it's also you being diligent enough to execute the skill and being efficient enough to execute the skill. Ganun kasi natin siya
Mm-hmm.
titignan dyan. Self-efficacy is
The
very
manner and
important.
how you execute it, right?
Yes, oo. So, unfortunately, yun nga, um, let's face this, at alam mo to, ito yung sinasabi ko to sa'yo, that all of us have different journeys that we tread. And we have a different learning curve and a different way of acquiring information. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we face that reality. So,
Mm-hmm.
what we can
But
only
yeah.
do now is to just assist as much as we do and
Mhm.
extend our patience as much as we do.
But I guess the three of us could agree if we said na hindi talaga lahat digitally literate. Diba? That's a
Totoo yan.
fact.
Totoo. Oo.
We have a comment right here from Gail Reyes Calma. It's a long one. Who would like to read it? Oh, parang classroom lang.
Ma'am, ako na po. Sige po, ma'am.
Sige,
Here.
go.
Thank you po, ma'am. Sabi po ni Gail Reyes Calma, bigla nag-iba yung tono ng boss ko. For us parents, advantage are We can see our children while they are learning in the house while na hindi nila kailangang gumising na maaga. Tapos uuwi ng tanghali for lunch and balik ulit sa school for afternoon class. They learn self-learning at the young age. Tipid sa baon, of course. Disadvantage or kailangan naman pumunta ng school once a week to return and get the module because mixed ang lesson nila. Sometimes even though na-explain na ng teacher, nahihirapan pa rin sila maintindihan ang lesson. Yeah, actually, I think ganun yung na-experience ng mga parents din. It's especially yung pagpunta sa school and bumalik and so on.
It's actually a sacrifice, no?
Yeah.
Not only for teachers, but also for students and also for parents. Kasi if we see the memes on social media nowadays, mga parents, I don't know if this is really the practice being done at home, no? In your households. Pero imbes na mga estudyante talaga yung sumasagot ng mga module nila, yung mga parents, sila yung sumasagot ng module. So, medyo naku-question mo din yung integridad ng module kung bakit or papaano siya sinasagot at sinong sumasagot sa kanya. I guess, since na-mention na rin yung involvement ng parents sa dynamics na ito, I guess we have to set our boundaries then as parents na as much as possible, ang mga anak natin yung pasagutin natin sa module at hindi tayo mga parents ang sasagot ng module. Our role as parents is to guide our children as to how they could complete the module correctly. Kasi ano bang tinuturo natin bilang magulang kung tayo ang sasagot sa module? We are teaching them laziness, dependence, right? But if we allow them to commit mistakes on their own, if we allow them to answer their modules on their own, then yung sinabi kanina ni Miss Gail na independent learning, that could be acquired in the household. Right? Kaya lang, sabi ko nga, I cannot generalize, but looking at the trend and looking at the memes being uploaded on social media, it seems as though parents talaga ang kumukumpleto ng module at hindi mga bata.
We still need to consider to leave a benefit of doubt for that one kasi syempre we don't have evidence for it. We can only guess, sabi nga nila. Pero ako kasi ang take ko dito, this would really, I taught educational psychology before and it gave me a lot of insight. I didn't like the subject, FYI. I didn't like the subject when I was in my undergraduate years, but when I was the one teaching it, and given the case that we are in a academic institution, I saw purpose why we need to learn. And at the same, I was in one of my lessons na naalala ko na learning does not just involve the student and the academic institution with all of the teachers that are composing the institution, but rather it is a student together with the academic institution as well as the community. So this includes the family as well. So natitest talaga yung triad na yon na ano yung nagsusupport sa bata? Is it merely the university or the school that they belong, or is it just the family or the community that they belong in, or both? Kasi dapat lahat ng yun konektado. So ang nakikita ko dito na kailangang i-enlighten sa marami is that they should treat it in a way as a window for learning, a window to commit mistakes, sabi mo nga, a window for us to challenge, for example, yung mga bata. Kasi we cannot always be there for them. They should stand on their own. They should make their own decisions. They should live up to their own mistakes. Yeah. So it's really, really important na ganun yung mindset na kailangan natin i-establish.
Yeah. So thank you, Ms. Gail, for that valuable input that you've shared. We are on the downside, ha? Wala pa man tayo sa tips. So stand by lang kayo. Later on, we'll talk about the tips and tricks as to how we could all survive the online learning, whether we are teachers or students or parents. Okay, so that's letter A, not everyone is digitally literate. Number 2, letter B, not everyone can afford a gadget or a constant, stable internet connection. Well, this is, a given already, lalo na sa Pilipinas. Hello, internet connectivity natin. Hindi natin alam kung sinong sisisihin talaga natin. Is it the government? Would it be the companies? No? Or yung location natin kung bakit napakabagal ng connection? But bottom line, not everybody could afford a stable internet connection and not everyone could afford a gadget. Kahit simpleng cellphone lang, minsan wala silang pambili. No? So this is really one of the challenges or the struggles ng government when they implemented the online learning classes. What happens to those who cannot afford it? At ang pinaka-device or na-device nilang paraan is, for those who cannot afford the gadget and internet connection, we have the modular modality. Yun nga kanina, napupunta yung parents sa mga schools, kukunin yung modules, and then children will have to read the modules at home, and then after that, they will have to answer questions and activities. No? So kung titignan mo, it's still inclusive education kasi even the marginalized ones, nabibigyan ng opportunity amidst the pandemic na makontinue yung education nila. Right? Yun nga lang, for modular modality, obviously, merong pros, merong cons. And it's the same thing for online learning. Meron ding advantage at meron ding disadvantage. It's not a perfect scheme. No? Walang perfect scheme dito. Yun yung nakikita natin dito. So, lahat yung mga nakikita ko actually complaints online na bakit hindi na lang mag-academic freeze and whatnot. Ako, ang opinion ko doon, even if you're not asking me, if we cannot provide practical, better solutions, might as well adapt the scheme that is presented to us.
Yeah.
Kasi what better avenue do we have? Right? So, yan. That is letter B. Ang daldal ko. We have a comment right here from Alan Christian Carlos. Let me just show it on the screen. Eto, sabi niya, Justin, if you could read it.
Oh.
Is it small on your end?
Yeah, in a way, but
Okay.
being digitally illiterate is up on someone's liking. Imagine children can easily learn the things from online games, but hard to remember a simple instruction of attaching a file to pass on an online platform. On my own experience, one of my pupils, a grade 6 student, and even read or spell correctly, but he is a professional trash talker on MF. Interesting.
Cheers.
Sabi.
There's actually, it's actually real.
Yeah.
Parang feel ko yung pinagdadaanan ni Sir Alan Christian doon. Pero may point
I
naman
think
talaga
that
siya.
is a very blunt
Yeah.
comment.
Wala
Yeah, actually, let's just try to contextualize yung sinabi niya, no? Sabi natin kanina, not everybody is digitally literate, and then we are complaining about not being trained for the gadgets or the platforms that we're using. Ito lang yung point ni Alan dito. How come when it comes to mobile gaming, how come when it comes to accessing YouTube and TikTok, without proper training, we could easily maneuver the application?
True. And
When
TikTok,
it
for TikTok, mas magaling pa silang mag-edit doon kaysa sa pag-edit ng PowerPoint, pag-edit sa
Right.
Microsoft Word, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the educational platforms like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Google Form, Google Classroom, Zoom, Canvas, whatever it is, why are we at a loss? Di ba?
What
Yun
I
yung point ni Alan eh. Yes, Justin.
think it's the setting. How those platforms that he mentioned, like the online gaming and the social media, I think it's because of that trend. And they're manipulated in a way that, oh, this looks actually cool. Let me just swipe up. Or wait a minute, let me press this button. Like, oh, this is actually cool. Oh, this color looks good. Pero in like our setting, this, for schooling, it's so bland. It's not exciting. So it's kind of like you walk into business, it's just like, bruh, this is so boring. Pero like what they do, they try to make it entertaining. Even the smallest thing, they don't know how to attach a file. Well, it's because that's boring. You would rather put in a dance move, like, oh, okay, this editing's actually cooler than this editing. But
Mhm.
I think it's because how the social trend, the norm nowadays.
All right. So if you're telling us right now that it's the interest, then we could safely establish that the platform technology, they don't have a problem. It's us, the users.
Yes, the users, because it's different.
Actually, yeah, I would definitely agree with Justin there when he said it's something about the norm. You can also add in there the priority of the individual or of the person, because if they really want to learn something, they would be focused enough to understand the knickknacks of that app or whatever platform or gadget that they have. Now, if this app or whatever they're using is what they consider boring, and they don't see the meaning why they have to learn from it, then of course they would just remove that from their list and just continue with what they want.
Mhm. So at the end of the day, it's the person's choice whether or
Yeah.
not he would like to learn about the gadget or the application.
Mhm.
Right? Inherently, yung app, yung gadget, walang kasalanan. Nasa gumagamit talaga siya. Diba? And to be frank about it, most applications that are rolled out nowadays are so user-friendly. They're
Yeah.
not rocket science. I mean, you know,
And
unang beses,
yeah,
siguro you wouldn't know how to use them. But as you navigate, trial and error, you would figure it out.
yeah. Basically, that's that's one of the conditions when you're making an app or anything that is relative to that. It should be easy to use, and that's the reason why we have updates for our operating systems, so that it
Mhm.
will be more user friendly, so that it will be more convenient for us to navigate across certain systems.
Mhm.
So, alam mo yun, yeah, everything is so convenient, but we're just not
We're
that.
complaining.
Yeah, we're just not that interested.
Yeah. Anyway, that is letter B. Not everyone can afford a gadget or a constant, stable internet connection. One of the downsides. Let's go to letter C because there are still a lot of them. Not everyone has parents to rely on. Okay, this is a sad fact. Maybe they have parents, physically they're there. However, probably the parents were laid off from work. Financially, they are struggling too as of the moment. Or that we could go immediately to letter D, wherein not all parents are educated and literate themselves. So who would be, the teachers at home if parents themselves have not experienced education? Right? So that's a sad reality too. You're lucky as a student if your parents are educated parents, no? If they had their education and they could guide you through your studies. But what about those parents who sacrificed and did not go to school and are struggling financially? Siguro moral support, love, unconditional love, care, yung pinagluluto ka ng breakfast para paggising mo, may pagkain ka na, attend ka na lang ng klase. That's the best they could do for you. But in terms of supporting you academically, no? Supporting you in terms of answering your assignments kung hindi mo naiintindihan, how? Right? So this is one of the loopholes na siguro nakita naman ng education department, but for the lack of better solution nga, they, kaya. They believe na kaya rin ng mga parents na maging teachers sa kanilang pamamahay. Right? Or siguro, if we look at it on a positive note, siguro ang parents, kung hindi sila nakapag-aral themselves, rather than teaching our children yung content ng module nila, why don't we teach them values?
Actually, yeah.
Like kung nakikita nating tamad-tamad yung anak natin, oy, bumangon ka dyan, gawin mo yung module mo, sagutin mo, due yan sa Friday.
Motivation.
Right? Motivation, 'di ba? Ano pa ba ang role ng parent kung hindi niya kayang i-supply yung academic part ng module? Eh di dun siya sa ugali ng bata.
The values, attitudes, competencies, for example.
Mhm.
They could
And
focus on that.
those are important part of learning too, ha? Hindi lang yung academic content. Because more and more now students are becoming less emotionally intelligent. Alam mo yun? Intellect-wise, yung IQ, sige, let's give it to them. But when it comes to emotional intelligence at saka yung core values nila bilang tao, minsan dun sila nagiging what's going on, no? Unstable.
Into personal connection.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if we have parents watching right now, kung hindi man po tayo nakapag-aral, hindi po yun kakulangan or hindrance, no, or hadlang para hindi natin matulungan yung mga anak natin sa bahay. If we cannot teach them academic content, turo po natin sa kanila yung mabuting asal. No? Kung nakikita po nating tamad, encourage po nating sagutin ng mga module. Kung nakikita po nating ini-spend nila yung mobile data nila sa Mobile Legends, bawalan po natin sila. Diba? Instead of being apathetic na wala tayong pakialam, dininanda na kang 20, paload mo na, magklase na ka, bala na kakimbiye mo.
Well, come on, pangan right there.
Right? No, but I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah, of course. Because you're trying to not have them distracted, or having them frustrated, and vice versa. So sometimes the student teaches the parents, and vice versa. So both of them, like I said before, they're actually learning one another. But that's why I said by motivation, because what happens at home stays at home. So it's the way that what's going on with their interaction. Because having school right here online can drawn out from your personal life with your parents, and how the kids interact with their parents, and then how the parents interact with their kids. So in a way, they have to make that balance. Na, okay, guys, we gotta be serious now. Like, mag-focus tayo. Like, okay, here, pay attention what the professor's saying. Pero you call me when you have help. Pero like, in a way, you're trying to like motivate them to be more productive and actually learn something. But it is enough that a lot of kids don't have their parents. Na sometimes because of the pandemic, they actually, like I said before, they got laid out, or they were were in the hospital during the time. So that's why like there's different scenarios comes along. But we have to make sure that whatever goes, they have to learn how to adapt to the situation.
Although I have to argue too, dito sa letter na ito, na if you don't have parents at home, what about big sisters and brothers? What about cousins? What about uncles and aunties? Lolos and lolas? It's a family. It's your home. So definitely you have other people to rely on, not only academically, pero yun nga, yung values na importante din sa learning. Right?
I think what we can just synthesize with the sharing for that item is that hindi dapat nawawala yung social familial support ng bata in terms of their academic efforts and their endeavors. Kasi parte pa rin sila. Hindi nawawala ang function ng family sa path towards education ng isang bata.
Thank you. Yeah.
We agree. And we have a comment right here once again from Alan Christian Carlos. He's actually a teacher, so, meron siyang say talaga dito because he's experiencing it himself. Sabi niya, one of my students did even drop recently for the reason she's really stressed and she sleeps too late because of answering the modules but how come they can stay awake up to 5 a.m. playing online games? Hindi ko maintindihan. Diyos ko, dahil, sabi niya. I cannot understand too.
Ramdam ko yung yung hugot niya. Ramdam ko. Don't worry, Sir Alan Christian. Ramdam ko po yun. Ramdam po namin ni V.
And to be fair, kung meron man tayong mga nanonood na estudyante ngayon, no? Could you please answer that question? Bakit tayo nasa-stress kapag napupuyat tayong gumagawa ng assignment? Pero kapag nanonood tayo sa TikTok, sa YouTube, naglalaro tayo online, or nakikipag-chat tayo sa mga jowa natin, we could tolerate the sleepless nights. Could you please enlighten us on that aspect? Kasi si Sir Alan, medyo hindi niya daw maintindihan din eh.
Gusto ko talaga yung mga comments.
Diba? Enlighten us. Bakit nga naman? Kasi we could not have double standards here. Nasasabihin mong stressed ka sa online class kasi napaka-demanding, napupuyat kang gumagawa ng assignment, kakasagot ng module, but it is okay to spend a night sleepless playing online games. That's a double standard. Kung hindi mo kayang magpuyat, dapat hindi ka nagpupuyat for both. Ba't tayo galit?
Galit ka?
Nag-explain lang.
It's social responsibility.
Alam mo yun, nag-start si Sir Alan Christian, tapos napunta sa akin. Medyo nararamdaman ko yung energy. Parang dahan-dahan ako na niyan mamaya, mag-beast mode na ako.
Ay, we have an answer. We have an answer
Oy,
right here. Okay.
meron.
Yes. And it's actually a very honest answer. Sabi ni Jem Juliano, kasi po, nakukuha mo pleasure sa entertainment.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry na, no?
Hey, their social responsibility in that they're more focused on not it's entertaining for them to actually interacting with that kind of online game, because it's kind of like how business versus pleasure. So business is not always fun and like, but all at the same time that pleasure is actually more entertaining and more fun, and like, oh yes, I will spend more time in this, but like, damn, 3,500 word essay, F that.
5,500.
3,500 word essay. I did that. And
we're actually nicer kasi pag kami nagpapa-essay, 250 words lang.
Oh, talking 150 eh.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, so yun yung sagot kasi mas masaya kapag entertainment. So, doon na naman papasok yung maturity ng bata. No? Na sineset niya yung priorities niya. Na alam mo yun, may time for entertainment, may time for education. No? And if you could not separate the two from one another, then there's the problem.
It's their responsibility. Yeah. And distinguish schoolwork versus personal work, personal time.
We could also add here yung well, again, based from what Justin and V was able to mention, I think nawawala yung yung sense of reality ng mga people of the world.
Ooh.
Kasi they think that everything is normal. Even though that there's the concept of now normal or new normal. May word na normal, so everything is normal. But they disregard the fact that 8 months ago it's quite different, and now everything that we do counts. Money, for example, counts. Effort counts. Time counts. Lives count. And mas na-enlighten tayo sa if we have that certain sense of reality na okay, nangyayari na pala ganitong sa paligid ko. So, what should I do? And maybe kung na-instill sa mga people of the world yung ganong aspeto, us students and parents or everyone, I think they're able to value things that should be of priority para sa atin. Like, for example, for students, kapag nakita nila na nag-e-effort ang parents ko para may panggastos ako para sa education ko, if they have that kind of understanding, then kasabi nila na I should not take that for granted and I should do my part.
Oh, yeah.
Ganun mga bagay.
Kung merong ganong sense yung bata, pero minsan kasi nga, immature yung bata, yung nakikita lang niya na napoprovide yung para sa kanya, so everything is okay. Without really realizing na yung process of acquiring yung means niya, yun yung mahirap doon.
Yeah.
Right?
And
siguro,
for one thing,
yeah, go ahead.
For one thing though, in terms of the developmental aspect of the youth today, particularly the adolescent, yung mga adolescents, biologically speaking, not to be technical about it, they're still in the process of really growing up. So, yun yung unfortunately, we have to accept that fact that they're in that process of actually maturing, not just physically, but also in terms of their cognition, in terms of the way that they think. Pero alam mo yun, if we just put that as a reason why they are behaving in such way, when will they grow up? When will they become responsible?
But that's exactly one of the reasons then why we are educating people, to make them, diba? To make them mature individuals and to make them cultured individuals. Not just intelligent individuals, but matured and cultured individuals. And if education is not giving that to learners, then we're failing as a system, right? And also, I wanna highlight na siguro nagkakaroon ng ganong dilemma na bakit pag sa ML okay magpuyat, bakit pag sa schoolworks hindi. Kasi nasa bahay, siguro nasanay yung bata, pag nasa bahay, chill lang ako. Pag nasa school ako, doon ako mag-aaral. Pag nasa bahay, I'm free to do whatever I want, right? And it so happened that the school is the home now and the home is the school now. So, nagkakaroon ng overlap. sa kung anong dapat niyang ginagawa sa bahay habang nag-aaral siya. And then we have additional comments right here from Alan. Sabi niya, pero bakit kayo nagrereklamo na napupuyat sa pagsagot ng modules at humihingi pa ng academic freeze? Para saan? Para buong araw na mag-ML, ipapasa ba kayo ng ML?
Professor, can I just sign up for your class?
Wala akong masabi.
I do both things.
Hands down ako kay Sir Alex. Wala akong masabi.
Savage!
I will log in and tell me I will do the module. I will go for online lectures.
No, Justin, you were saying that you're also playing, but at the same time, you're not neglecting your academic duties.
But I can multitask.
No, really. I would have to attest too. Kasi ako, I play Mobile Legends too. But I'm not neglecting my work.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just messing.
True.
Yeah, of course.
Diba?
I limit
Same
myself.
with, I'm playing my console at the back whenever I have to. But I'm not neglecting whatever task that I have for the entire day or for the next day.
No, I mean, let's be about it. Let's be mature about it. Yung gaming or whatever outlet we have to make ourselves forget about our academic responsibilities, those are actually healthy breathers. No, healthy breathers yung mga yan. We have to take a break. Maglalaro ka, magti-TikTok ka, sasayaw ka, kakanta ka, whatever you wanna do just to ease the stress out. Pero kung yung percentage ng ginagawa mo, mas marami yung pumupunta doon sa entertainment at nakalimutan mo na yung academic responsibilities mo, then you have a problem.
So I would add use gaming and old during or month, because once you pass the line that you're not actually focusing, that means you're actually distracted and you just don't care about it and you're not learning anything. So I would say use it moderately. Because I actually take breaks. I do, or study, or in person lectures, or even online lecture. I take like 30-minute break just to just refresh and actually rewire my. So that means what I just learned from the lectures, it will incorporate later. Like I say, it will be my short-term memory. So a lot of people, especially when you at adolescence, they need to learn about how they're still growing up. So they're not in that mature phase. Once they into that kind of phase, they realize, oh, right, I need to learn how to do this because I'm actually struggling internally and externally.
A little disclaimer
and then,
lang now. We have nothing against playing ML.
Oh, definitely nothing against playing ML.
Or even playing games in general.
No, we love games. We love playing games.
Love them. We love playing games. It's just that relative to the issue, you just really need to understand how to allot your time well. Kung ano dapat yung masuunahin mong gawin. Everything has its time and space. Yun ang gusto ko sabihin.
Yep.
It's just a matter of you choosing when and how long. Yeah. So that hindi ma-compromise iba pang mga task mo for the entire day. So I think maybe it's a different topic na siguro, but I know this sounds so simple to say and simple to deliver, but it's really just a matter of time management. But time management is very difficult to do, especially with the many things that we are preoccupied with.
Yep. And then sabi dito ni Jem Juliano, opinion lang daw niyo yun or perception lang niya. We love your opinion.
It's okay.
We don't judge you for your opinion. You can say whatever you want, my dear.
You're like giving a good one. No, of course not. Like what you said, what I say matters. What we all say matters. We're actually educating one another because we're struggling in this too.
Kaya nga, lagi namin sinasabi sa inyo, when we are conducting live streams, we appreciate it that you watch and listen to us, but we appreciate it more kapag nagvo-voice out kayo na ganyan because this is a platform where we could exchange without being judged. No?
Or even
Whatever you say.
disagree with what we are saying.
Yeah. We're open for
would
argument.
Yeah. Magdidebatihan tayo online. O, di ba? Saya-saya
Yes.
doon.
Diba? We are actually combining entertainment and education, right? We're learning, but at the same time, we're having fun. Diba? So don't hesitate and don't feel bad if you're saying something of the opposite dun sa mga sinasabi namin or the other way around. Right? So let's letter D. Letter E, not all households are conducive for online learning. Let's face the fact. Okay, hindi lahat ng bata may personal room. Yung iba nasa labas pag nanonood ng online classes nila, no? Or kung nasa loob man sila ng bahay, may mga asong maingay yung mga sasakyan sa harap, may nagkukumpuni, may mga manok, and so on and so forth. So, ang hirap ding i-control ng environment, lalo na kung yung community ng bata ay hindi siya ganoon ka-conducive for online learning. Or even for modular modality, yung tipong ang gulo sa bahay, hindi alam ng bata saan siya sasagot ng assignment, no? Yung mga kalaro niya nasa labas lang, meron ng tukso para hindi niya nagawin yung assignment niya, maglalaro na lang siya sa labas. Tapos yung parents niya, hindi siya binabantayan. So, ang daming challenge and disadvantages talaga pagdating sa bahay. Right?
Ang sa akin lang dyan, whenever kasi i-orient mo yung mga bata, di ba, sa very first meeting nyo regarding, that's one thing that you will orient them. Sasabihin mo, please select a space sa bahay ninyo na it's very conducive for you to work, or at least it's tahimik kahit paano para makapag-concentrate ka. Pero ang follow-up ko dun lagi is that if there are matters that you cannot control, please be mindful that you cannot control them entirely. Yun lang naman ng sinasabi ko. So if you cannot avoid those noises because of uncontrollable matters, wala tayong magagawa. So what you need to do is just accept the fact and just make up for other things para lang makabawi ka just in case.
Although kami, just to share our private practice sa institution where I'm working at, no, mics are turned off all the time unless you are to say something or to ask a question or to answer or whatever, no. And then, should you want to turn on your camera, pwede mong i-blur yung background mo, for privacy's sake. So, we remind our students then that if you are to join the online classes and you are to turn on your microphones and your cameras, you have the option of protecting your privacy too. Lalo na kung maingay sa paligid mo or may mga bagay-bagay sa likod mo na ayaw mong makita online ng mga classmate mo at mga teachers mo.
And basically, you have the choice naman.
So,
data privacy kasi.
Yeah. But then again, we go back to letter E. Hindi lahat talaga ng bahay ay okay for online learning or for modular modality. And dito kami makikiusap sa mga kasambahay natin or yung mga kasama sa bahay, no? Mommy, daddy, ate, kuya, tito, tita, sino man kayo sa household ninyo. Pag po nakikita niyo yung mga estudyante, mga anak ninyo, pamangkin ninyo, apo ninyo, na nag-a-attend ng online class, sumasagot ng module, let's give them the respect that they deserve, na wag po natin silang abalahin, no? Give them the space. Na kung normally sa oras na yon maingay po tayo, nakita nating may online class yung bata, tayo mismo tumahimik muna. Yung ganong practice, 'di ba? Kasi nandiyan na po yung sitwasyon hindi na po natin siya mababago. We're already implementing it. And to help our students learn better, dahil nasa bahay po sila, ano ba naman po yung mga little sacrifices na wag muna tayong maingay? Right? Or kung pwede pong sa isang kwarto muna yung bata, ipagamit natin sa kanya habang may klase lang naman. Diba? Para mas nakakatanggap ng learning yung bata. Kasi when it's noisy, tapos ang daming distraction, mahirap talagang mag-aral.
Actually, there are some barangays, I'm not sure kung sino, pero for one thing sa amin, which is nabigla ako sa isang post nila, there was a barangay ordinance that was issued, I think, kailan nga ba yun? So
Same here.
Na bawal muna mag-videoke within this particular time frame because students as well as employees are studying and working from home, so we need to respect that. And then may fines. Sabi mo, sana tinaas na yung fine. para wala nang kawala just in case. Pero at least, di ba, may ganong dito, instructions para respeto naman para sa mga nagtatrabaho at nag-aaral sa bahay.
Same here in our area. Bawal mag-video kaya magpatugtog ng malakas during work hours or learning hours. No, yun yung, I mean, the community is also involved. Yun yung sinasabi mo kaninang
Tama.
triad. School,
Yes.
family, community, and the student. Yun yung triad, educational triad na since education is occurring at home, the community needs to step up, no? Support the
Oo.
learners too.
O, di ba?
Ganun siya.
Experiential siya. Nangyayari talaga yung
Correct.
triumph na yun.
Yes. Mhm. And kudos to our local government, sa ating mga barangay
Oo
unit for
naman.
having those ordinances. Syempre naman. Thank you very much po. We salute you for that. Now, letter F, eto. This was actually an argument or a discussion between a friend of mine, no, dun sa group chat namin. Academic integrity is compromised, especially during exams. So, ano mo nang ibig sabihin ng academic integrity? When we talk about academic integrity during exams, ito yung ma-assure natin that when we give students the questions, they will answer with full honesty without cheating. But ako naman, this is how I view integrity. It is doing the right thing even if nobody is watching. Diba? So since we are implementing tests, quizzes, exams online, no, teachers could not really monitor if students are answering the questions honestly. But we leave it to the students that they are with integrity na hindi sila titingin ng notes, hindi sila mag-google, hindi sila magtatanong sa mga kaklase nila via chat, and they will answer the questions with full honesty. Your thoughts on this? This one is debatable. Academic integrity. Because whether we like it or we don't, we've been students once too, and we know that there's the temptation, always the temptation, to cheat.
For one thing, given that we have the internet for us to get all of the information, especially the correct ones, just in case. It's just a matter of typing specifics dun sa statement or sa question mo sa search box. It's pretty much unavoidable. And as it is unavoidable, it is also tempting. Even before the academic year started, the semester started, it really was a big issue. Kasi, syempre, inisip nila, paano kung mag-cheat yung bata? Paano kung copy-paste lang nila yung isang article or isang essay nila? And mind you, I personally experienced that when it's not that wala akong tiwala sa mga students, pero when I was reading one submission and I was like, this sounds too much. and then only to find out
Suspicious.
when I copied the entire suspicious. And I copied the entire article and then searched that in the box.
Emergency book. Reddit
It was all there. And I was like,
Reddit sus.
why? And then ayun na. Sa akin, personally speaking, this is what my practice is, and based from the many seminars, talks, and the books that I'm reading, these things we can only control as much. We can only do so much for us to avoid these things. I think what's very important is I really agree with what you've said, V, that when you want to practice integrity, you leave it to the person. I mean, instill it, plant a seed, educate the person, but let the person take care of that seed and let that seed grow into a tree.
Yes, I like that.
Meaning,
Yeah.
kailangan nilang i-understand na if I did this, what will it make me? If I cheat and I got information without citing other people, did I learn something from it? Yeah. Kasi ganun dapat natin sa tinitingnan. You found an easy way out of a certain situation or a certain problem, but you disregard the fact that after that, ano yung magiging impact niya sa'yo. Yeah. Kasi kailangan nating ma-share or ma-enlighten particularly with the students as well, na kailangan nilang matuto sa ganung mga bagay-bagay.
And you know what? In addition to that, wala pa naman yata akong na-encounter na institution that never really mentioned in the syllabus or in the curriculum yung academic integrity. It's always included that if students are plagiarizing, if students are cheating, these are actually grounds for, I don't know, sanctions or expulsion or minor, what do you call this?
I think major sila kaagad. Major siya yung
Actually,
sanction kapag sa
plagiarism, yes.
major kaagad yun.
Mm-mm. So,
Minsan
yun nga,
very light
sabi
pa
mo
nga
nga,
yung suspension. Tapos afterwards,
mm,
kapag na-repeat ulit, ayun na.
mm. Pero ako din, ang hindi ko yun yung hindi ko rin maget sa mga bata, that no matter how many times you try to tell them that plagiarism is an academic offense and it's a grave offense, they will just repeat the same mistake. Alam mo yun? They will just do it over and over again. So, minsan, hindi mo alam bilang teacher kung pagbibigyan mo ba or itatama mo yung mali kasi ang hirap ng baliin if it has been a habit already. Right? Your thoughts, Justin?
Two things. One, they we have this year's blackboard namin. That, for example, if you're submitting a short answer question, so we have a button that you check. It's for the academic integrity. That it's called Safe Assign. So what that does is that it checks your work. If they find anything that from the internet that you actually copy and paste, it will track that and report it to the professor that, okay, this student did a wrong thing. You need to have a one-on-one conversation with this person because they have the option to give the zero, fail the class or the assignment, or talk to the higher rank, like the dean. The other thing, uh, it we have this option that we download for the class called Lockdown Browser. So it's kind of like yung browser, but it's only one tab or one or two tabs, but it's only for Blackboard. So you actually log in yourself, and it tracks that you actually. So the other tabs that you can't Google, so it's already limited. Yung tabs mo, the desktop icons, it's not there. It's just one screen of Blackboard. So that's one thing that it kind of makes sure that these students are cheating, and they allow our webcam to be on just once, but also throughout the exam. So there's no actually cheating. But it's strict. So what I would say na it's the preparation for the exam, but at the same time, na if it's heavy load, that means you're not learning anything. Say ako, I like to be honest that it happened to me before. That I studied so much, but when it comes to testing, I was so stressed out that I blanked. So I didn't get a good. So it really depends on the teacher how much preparation you want for your students, and also how much time for the students with their parents to help them out so they can be well prepared for it. But at the same time, it is also the student's responsibility. If you want to learn or not, if you want to receive a good grade or not, if you want to take a shortcut and cheat or plagiarize. But at the same time, what I would like to do for if I was a teacher, that I would give my students chances. For if it's a time limit, I'll give them an hour to actually complete the task. But they can use notes, their own notes, not notes from the internet.
Well, actually
ay, sige.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, what I was about to catch, what I was able to catch is sinabi ni Justin is that there are some protocols that we can do. There's some measures naman.
Yes.
Yeah, tama naman yun. Kasi, like for example, if it's an objective exam, then we can shuffle the questions just in case. Or if not, there are means of kapag oras na para mag-exam, ipapa-turn on mo muna yung video camera nila para you're able to see kung anong
nakikita mo. Yeah.
Unfortunately, or even at some point, there are some apps or even certain softwares that could actually assist you for you to observe integrity with particular requirements. Meron naman talaga ganun. Unfortunately, budget yung iniisip dyan. kung may budget, available ba dun sa institution na yun, yung ganun mga softwares or gadgets or applications. Yun lang naman siya.
Mhm.
Okay?
Well, ako naman, ito yung argument ko dyan. Either it is the face-to-face traditional type of education or the online learning or the modular modality, cheating happens.
Yeah.
Diba? Kahit sa classroom, no matter how present the teacher is, kahit gaano pa katinik yung mata ng teacher, students will always devise a way or ways to cheat kung gusto talaga nilang mag-cheat. Now, ako naman, ito ang takeaway ko dyan. If you would choose to cheat, sinong niloloko mo?
Yourself.
Right? It's yourself. Okay, fine. Sa class record ni teacher, perfect ka. You got the maximum score, no? 100 over 100. But at the end of the day, do you feel happy about that accomplishment? Being able to accomplish something out of cheating? Right? Kung meron kang ganong depth sa sarili mo, you would understand yung sinasabi ko, sinong niloloko mo? You fooled your teacher because your teacher will never know. But you're also fooling yourself. Diba? So it's something that you have to learn as a student, that when you answer exams, you have to be honest. If you don't know the answer, then that's an opportunity for you to study better.
I always tell myself, 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. So even actually got a D or an F is better than a 0. So points that you got from that paper or that one multiple choice test, it still counts because you actually have points with it. If you receive a 0, because it's better to receive an F than having a cheating violation on the paper than itself, like receiving a 0 on it. So that's why I would rather get an F than that.
Yeah, because intellect can be nurtured and corrected, but attitude and character, oh my gosh. Once you tarnish it, it'll last forever in the minds of others.
Naalala ko nga yung mga pa-sermon ng mga teacher ko sa nung elementary pa. If you recall na, kung sino ka ngayon, dadalhin
ano sabi
mo yan
ng mga
kapag
teacher
tumanda
mo?
ka. Diba? Kung sino ka ngayon, dadalhin mo yan kapag tumanda ka. And when we were young, we neglect those words. Parang sasabihin natin, nagsasalita lang ang teacher natin.
Magbabago pa ako, whatever, di ba?
There's actual truth to it. Especially if you encounter those again and again, or do those again and again and again and again.
Just to take a quick break, no? Sabi dito ni Sir Alan Christian Conanan Carlos, list of rankings 2020-2021. First honor, Mama ni Ron. Second honor, Tita ni Christopher. Third honor, Tutor ni Paulo. Fourth honor, Kuya ni Bien. And some icons laughing here and there. Yung mga icons na sobra yung tawa. Well, sabi nga namin kanina, we are encouraging actually parents and relatives not to answer the modules.
Oh, that's not what we're intending to. We're trying to help them through, guide them through to the right answers.
No, although sabi ko nga, it's hard to generalize and probably not everyone is practicing this at home. Pero there is truth to this, na talagang mga parents at relatives ang sumasagot sa mga modules. But as much as possible, please, we encourage you, help the teachers naman inculcate in the students values and traits that are honorable. Diba? So, yun. And then, Jova said right here, hello, my love. Thank you for joining the live. Sabi niya, Jonilo Mababa, request ko sana ikaw naman guest dito next time. I would love to. If he's available right now, I could immediately up him here. No, why not? Thank you very much for suggesting Sir Mababa next time. I would invite him for sure. And I hope he says yes. All right, so that's letter F, right? And then letter G would be spoon feeding. Learning does not take place as it should anymore. Yeah, in our case in the Philippines, because everything is provided nga. There's no opportunity for students to make researches, learn on their own, independent learning. Actually, the classroom is very much teacher-centered na, for online classes. Kasi we do all the talking, and sometimes when we ask questions, not everybody will answer because if they want to answer, yung internet connectivity nila mahina, so they're choppy, or yung background nila maingay, they couldn't provide an answer, nahihiya silang mag-turn on ng microphone, or who knows, wala na pala sila doon, we just keep on talking for an hour and a half, and then we're just alone in the virtual classroom.
Just to share, just to segue ko lang. I have one habit that I do online. Wherein
Mm-hmm.
some part of my of the hour, what I do is, okay, everyone, can you please raise your hand? And then all of a sudden, makikita ko na raise your hand. And then makikita sa pinaka-ilalim, wala sila. Which is very
Yeah.
effective actually. Makikita nila, uy, bakit nag-ring yung app ko, ano nangyayari?
Mm-hmm. Ako din, I have to check. Like sometimes, do you see my PowerPoint? And then nobody's answering. Oh my gosh, is it my PowerPoint or is it them? No? So as a teacher, you really have to be conscious then if the students are still there or they're sleeping already or they left already, because they can. They can. Right? So yeah, that's letter G. And then letter H, personal and academic obligations get mixed up. Ayan, ito.
Yun.
Because they're at home nga, it's difficult for them to make a distinction between what they have to do for school and what they have to do at home.
Actually, ang daming pwedeng i-connect doon sa last part, nasa statement na yun, sa item na yun. Kasi, unang-una, you need to understand etiquette. Then afterwards, you also need to understand boundaries. Like for instance, with my students, kapag lagpas na ng work hours ko, as much as I would like to entertain them, ang lagi kong script would be, hello, ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. I would like to gently remind you that currently it is ganyan, ganyan of the hours. Which is way beyond our ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. I would kindly recommend that you please follow up on this matter tomorrow during my consultation hours.
You. I admire you for being blunt about that kasi ako, even if it's 11 p.m. and I'm awake, I still answer questions through Messenger. Like, seriously. And sometimes parang naduduling na akong ganito na, ano ba, tama pa ba ito sinasagot ko sa mga tanong? But I give them the answer because I have the tendency to forget. Baka kinabukasan, I could no longer answer them. So, might as well give them the response they need immediately when I see their message. But tama ka din naman, dapat may boundaries na alam din dapat ng mga estudyante anong oras dapat nagme-message and kailan dapat nagtatanong, because we have our personal lives too. Pagkatapos nating maging teacher sa umaga, mga asawa, anak tayo.
Actually, the reason why I'm trying to inculcate that with them is that unang-una, they'll be employees soon and they need to value time between work as well as their personal lives. That's one. And second is that kailangan din silang businahin na, uy, ano na, 1 o'clock 1 a.m. na. Bakit gumagawa ka pa ng module? Matagal pa yung deadline natin. Magpahinga ka. alam mo yun, parang, it's a very subtle way of telling them na, rest.
Take a break. Yes.
Take a break.
Go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Alam mo yun? So, yeah.
That is true. I agree. Ayan. So basically, those are the downsides or the disadvantages of online learning or the modular modality. Now let's talk about personal resiliency and academic grit. No? How do we actually survive the online class or the modular modality? So according to Google, resiliency or resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and toughness. It is synonymous to the words flexibility and pliability. On the other hand, grit, it means courage and resolve, the strength of character, bravery, spirit, or what they call the moral fiber. Right? So now, let's go over... Go ahead.
Let me just because I advocate grit. Because I advocate
Go
grit,
ahead.
Let's try to establish them. Kahit na-define mo na siya, let's try to highlight it accordingly na. Resilience is being able to bounce back to certain issues that are not entirely, kumbaga, short-term lang. Yeah, just to contextualize it, short-term. Like, for example, if you have a problem with yung time versus yung submission mo ng subjects, then find a way for you to rise above that and eventually submit your requirement. Grit, on the other hand, the reason why resilience is part of grit, pero mas malaki ang konteksto ng grit. Grit is more on being able to sustain your interest and that you're able to accomplish your long-term goals. Ganun yung pinaka-difference. So for example, kung ang pinaka-long-term goal is to graduate, you need to sustain na kahit na we're experiencing this pandemic right now, I have to work hard. I need to do something with the situation. Try to look at the other end of the coin and magpursige para makuha ko yung goal na gusto ko. So ganun yung just to contextualize ng maigi yung resilience tsaka ng grit. Okay?
Mm-hmm. All right. Before we talk about the ways and how to, be resilient and have that long-term grit na sinasabi ni Sir Drew, meron tayong comment dito from Jam Centino and sabi niya, yung ibang student ay nagsiscreen record na lang. Hala!
May ano po ako dyan, kay Jam, na it's important po na we have to value courtesy as well as privacy and consent. Yan. So you cannot just record something out of the blue. Kailangan pagpaalam mo muna siya. Take note that even though you are in a video conference, na you consider it as a private setup, still, the information, for example, out of the blue, na-send mo siya sa iba pang kasama o kung sino man, kakalat na kakalat yan. So, instead na maging private yung video, maging siyang public. Yeah. So, be careful kapag may screen recording.
Actually, during the orientation naman, from where I'm working for, we really do not encourage students to record the session because of data privacy issues nga. And even teachers, we cannot record our sessions for the sake of those who have not attended it live. No? Ngayon, kung halimbawa hindi ka nakapagpaalam sa teacher mo or sa classmates mo that you recorded that session, siguro have na lang the how do I call it? The respect for them na talagang for you lang, no? Hindi mo na siya ipopost publicly, hindi mo na siya i-share to somebody else, na ikaw lang talaga yung manunood ng video na yon para lang safe silang lahat, no? Yan. Pero sana hindi yun maging practice na yung tipong nag-attend ka online tapos bigla mong iniwan, i-record mo na lang, babalikan mo na lang, no?
Oo.
Huwag naman ganon, Have the respect for your teacher and your classmates who are really putting effort in the class. Ganon siya. Pero hindi naman namin sinasabing si Jam yun. Sabi lang niya, yung ibang student. Okay? So kung sino mang mga estudyante yun, sana they stop practicing that because it's not a good practice talaga. Thank you for letting us know, Jam. We appreciate your thoughts. Now, let's go to the practical side. Let's talk about the tips. Okay? Dito medyo pwede tayong mag-init ng ulo kasi kailangan natin talagang turuan ang mga bata kung paano mag-survive sa ganitong setup.
We highly encourage everyone to please also react. Because makaka-relate kayo ng bonggang-bongga dito.
Yes. Share to us your thoughts. Kung ayaw nyong i-comment sa live stream, pwede nyo akong i-private message at kung ayaw nyong ma-identify yung pangalan ninyo, kayang-kaya naman natin gawing anonymous ang inyong identity. Alright. Now, the first one that I would like to share to everybody, and you can discuss this to Sir Drew and Justin, rather than complain, adapt.
Yes.
Right? Ito yung sinasabi ko lagi na if you cannot change the situation, change how you see the situation. Because the only thing you can control is you. The situation, you cannot control it. Your thoughts on this?
I'll take this one.
Sure.
Group work is one of the good example when people complain and choose to adapt. Kasi ako, there's a group of 4. I'm the 4th person. 2 of my group members, they don't know. They're complaining and they procrastinate. What I do, I adapt and being the leader. I communicate with them. Hey guys, we have this deadline. Let's get this going. So what I did is I got out of my comfort zone and became a leader. So I adapted to become a leader to motivate them to help me out because I'm also affected on this group work. So I stopped complaining. I just did the work.
Kasi what good is complaining for, di ba? You can whine all day and you cannot accomplish anything through whining. Right? Through complaining. And it's the same thing. Kung nandiyan na yung online class, Magko-complain ka? Day in, day out, nandyan yung mga task, magko-complain ka? What good does it give you? Nothing. Right? Mas nadi-discourage mo yung sarili mo. So instead of complaining sa sitwasyon, or instead of complaining about the situation, try to adapt. No? Besides, we don't have any other options. So the best thing to do is to change our perspective on things. Siguro if you see online classes as challenging, then might as well challenge yourself. This is something new. I'd like to try it. This is not my cup of tea, no? But let me give it a try. Yes, Sir Drew?
Let me just add, just to further clarify the word adapt. Kasi akala nila na when you say adapt, it is just to comply. Take note, V, you know this very much, that adapt is an action word. It is a verb. So that means you need to act on it. You have to do it. So, when relative to yung sabi na parang, kung ito na situation natin, do something about it. Sabi nga doon sa isang quote sa sorry ha, favorite ko talaga tong line to sa favorite show ko na Glee. No matter what, kung anumang niya, na see the world not as it is, but as it should be. Don't just settle with what is there in front of you. Parang, don't just settle na, okay na, I'll just go to class, comply, listen, I'll just look at the teacher, answer the sige lang, okay lang. Pero you're just complying. But you're not doing something that would actually enable you to be a better version of who you are later in the afternoon, evening, tomorrow, and even for the rest of your life. So let's clarify the word adapt kasi minsan na-overlook lang natin yung word na yan na parang it's more of compliance. No. Adapt means you're doing something to transform yourself for the better.
Yes. Okay? Compliance is simply doing what is asked of you, but adapting is empowering yourself too and doing something to improve your situation too. No? Ganun siya. Given the larger situation or context that you are in. Parang ganun siya. Okay? So, sabi ko nga, nandyan na yan. Instead of complaining every day, look for better solutions for yourself. Okay? Act on them. That's the first one. Number 2. Be disciplined. Hold yourself accountable. Okay? Kaya pag-usapan natin yung be disciplined dito. Yung kaninang sentimento ni Sir Alan. Bakit nakapagpupuyat kayo maglaro ng mobile games, pero pagdating sa pagsagot ng tasks nyo and assignments ninyo, nasa-stress kayo at you'd rather drop out? Okay? At the same time, bakit hindi kayo gumigising ng maaga para mag-attend ng online classes ninyo? Kasi napuyat kayong maglaro ng online game. Basically, point in case here is that you have to teach yourself. Okay? You have to teach yourself how to go about your routine. If you have to wake up early, wake up early. If you have to sleep late because of the assignment, find a time in the day para gawin mo yung assignment mo na hindi ka na mapupuyat. And at the same time, hold yourself accountable too. Huwag laging si teacher.
Take your own responsibility.
Yes. And remember, this is learning teaching process. So we are both accountable to one another. So kung halimbawa hindi ka nakapag-submit, huwag mo agad isisising, online learning kasi ma'am, ang hirap, mahina yung internet. Nakalimutan ko ma'am kasi pinaghugas pa ako ng plato ng nanay ko. We understand that. We are humans. We empathize. But you have the accountability, the responsibility too, to perform your academic tasks on time. Diba? So again, the situation will not adjust for you. You have to adjust to the situation. Your thoughts?
Before I say my piece, galit ka te.
Hindi ako galit. I'm very chill, man. I'm so chill right now.
Anyways, what else can I say ba? It's very important for me to empower students to be accountable with all of their actions. Kasi importante kasi yun. Importante na lahat ng ginagawa ninyo, kapag meron kayong ginagawa, hindi lang ikaw ang apektado. Lahat apektado dyan. It might not be directly but it could be indirectly na merong pwede mangyari sa kanila. So, kahit the word discipline is once again an overlooked word na parang sinasabi na ang dali-dali lang sabihin, ang dali lang isipin. Pero discipline is a very, very, very deep yung kinumugutan yan na you need to be mindful about all of your actions and all of the things that you're saying and all of the things that you're feeling. Importante kasi yun.
It's really a practice eh.
Yeah. Well, before you even practice it, kailangan mo muna siyang kailangan mo maging aware about it. Na parang, is this the me that practice or that initiates or values discipline? Is this tawag dito? Am my action are my actions or even my thoughts leading towards me becoming a disciplined individual? And then only by that time you'll be able to realize na okay, let me do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi ang problem kasi is that we do and do, but not think. Mm-hmm. We are very much overrun with certain emotions or certain thoughts without actually second doubting them at some extent.
Mm-hmm.
So, ano nangyayari? We overlook yung mga consequences. And eventually, kapag yung mga consequences na nangyari na ano sasabihin natin, ay okay lang. Nakapag-submit ka ng maling assignment, okay lang. Kapag lumagpas ka na sa deadline, ay okay lang yan. Meron pa naman next time. What if kung wala ng next time?
Yeah, actually, yan din yung yung isa sa mga concern ko bilang teacher din na whenever we accept late submissions, what are we teaching our students? Diba? Kasi for one, we understand their predicaments, we understand their situations na mahina ang signal, hindi na attached yung ganito and whatnot. So, we are very lenient nga when it comes to deadlines. However, when it comes to real life situation and when they started working na, you can't even, reason out to your boss, sorry boss, hindi ko nagawa yung report eh. Could you give me an extension?
Parang yun yata yung sermon ko.
No, for real.
Pero totoo naman yung sabi ko.
Diba? Like, sorry boss, can you give me a deadline? Kasi medyo tinamad ako kanina eh. You cannot do that in real life. I mean, us, we work already. Justin, for one, is a working student too. If there are tasks given to us, whatever reason we have for not being able to accomplish them, we have to be accountable. It's either we get fired, we get sanctioned, no? We get reprimanded, we get, cursed at by the boss. Because those are our duties. And if we will not teach this to our students too, paano sila magiging accountable sa buhay nila in real life? Diba? It's really a tough love coming from a teacher na minsan na may misunderstand ng mga estudyante. Akala nila, the teacher is strict. The teacher is inconsiderate. Okay? Hindi human yung teacher natin. Wala siyang pakialam sa ating sitwasyon. No, we do have concern. And we can empathize. It's just that what values are we teaching you kung panay namin kayong pagbibigyan? Right?
Siguro
so,
we just have this foresight of looking at what are the possibilities that could happen. Alam mo yun, we're very much aware of that. Unfortunately, with the students that we have, but not everyone, of course. Merong iba sa kanila, they're still in the process of maturing talaga. And they don't account yung ganong aspect na paano yung future ko. Yeah. Parang they're more focused on the here and now and what emotion that they receive or not, yung how their emotions are reciprocated, how their actions are seen by others, and so on.
Yeah. So yeah, now number 2. Justin, any take on this? Discipline and, holding yourself accountable?
It's hard.
It is, yeah.
But at the same time, like I said before, it's also self responsibility. If you think, I remembered how Sergio just said, students just do and do and do. They don't think about their work because they're catching a deadline. So at the same time, what I do is I make sure, okay, how's this apply to my real life? Or how is this going to apply on my career life? So what I do is, okay, this is part of what I study. I'm going to be working with others who are different than me, and I have to learn to take my own responsibility if I can't rely on other people. So it is a form of for a practice, but also it's a thing that you got to develop over time. So it can't be rushed.
Mhm.
Actually, skill
Yeah.
set you got to learn throughout years of experience and working with others. Working with your teachers. So yes, you get to learn how to say, "I'm sorry, this is my fault. I will do this a better time. I'll do better.
Mhm.
I'll do better next time."
Mhm. And actually, ako personally, I appreciate students who admit that they have mistake regarding things rather than making excuses. It takes a lot of courage and maturity to tell your teacher, tinamad ako, mame. That's why I wasn't able to do my assignment. I mean, wow, you may have gotten zero for that particular task, but my admiration for you as a person, it's absolutely there. Diba? Kasi hindi ka na nag-reason na, ma'am, kasi ganito, ma'am, pahingi na lang ako ng extension. But you really held yourself accountable and you stood up to that mistake. Right? That's maturity right there. Okay, so that's number 2, be disciplined, hold yourself accountable. That's one way of surviving the online classes. So how exactly are you to discipline yourself? Number 3, set your priorities and your goals, both short-term and long-term. So obviously, your long-term goal is to survive the entire SEM, attending your classes online. Your short-term goal is to actually submit all your work on time too, and to perform well in class even if it's just online. Right? So how do you do this? My class starts at 7:30 a.m. I have to wake up 6 a.m. I should not bother my parents for my breakfast. I'm old enough. I'm talking about college students, ha? I can cook eggs and tuyo and rice. I'll do my own meal. After eating, I'll take a bath. I'll shower. Okay? After that, I'll verify if I have a homework to do. Think. You have to have a mental list of the things that you will have to do when you wake up. Or if you could not keep a mental list, write them down. Diba? At least guided ka. Ito pala yung gagawin ko ngayon. Okay, accomplished. And you know what the feeling of ticking the button check? Alam mo yun, yung parang nakalimang check ka na sa day mo. Damn, I'm doing things. Damn, I'm productive. Diba?
Yeah.
That kind of, those small victories that you do every day out of your list, they are rewarding to see na nai-eliminate mo sila sa listahan mo.
Yeah. Actually,
I didn't hear that, Justin.
So
sige,
I
just
said, I actually mute myself. I said, those are called chores.
Yes.
Kids like chores. Pero replace the word chores into to-do list.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Sergio, you're saying?
And sa akin kasi, what I always tell my students is that everything that you do, especially right now, they matter. So that means everything is a priority. Even your self-care is a priority. Even ang paglalaro ng ML is a priority.
Yes, it
Ang
is.
kailangan nilang i-consider is that which among these priorities are urgent. So kailangan mo talaga siyang i-lay out talaga na maayos. Okay, priority ko ang self-care ko. Pero meron akong deadline bukas. So yun yung i-urgent ko, yun yung ilalagay ko sa una. Tapos siguro
Yeah.
at the end of the day, doon na lang ako mag-ML. Para may self-care din pa rin ako. So yun yung, alam mo, I know it's so hard, it's so easy to deliver these things and you have to really have discipline. Discipline and become mindful about your actions para ma-experience mo siya ng maayos. And when I say experience, you're able to practice it. Kasi you cannot just do it once in a week. You have to do it this day, the next day, and so on and so forth. Okay? O diba? Galit ako.
Make it part of your lifestyle. No, really, you have to make it a lifestyle, a life pattern, every day you have to check. Pag gising mo sa umaga, actually, when I'm watching TikTok, meron akong nakitang advice na when you wake up in the morning, instead of opening your phone first,
Oh wow,
do something else.
I've seen this before too. Oh wow.
Kasi when you open your phone, agad nang nai-influence yung brain waves, no, na ganito, ganyan. So, instead of opening your phone and checking your phone, unless it's related sa trabaho mo, don't check your phone. No? Wake up, thank the Lord you're awake, no? Tapos, take a look at your to-do list para guided yung umaga mo, yung araw mo. No? At hindi scattered yung kung anong dapat mong unahin and whatnot. Actually, dyan yung problema ng mga estudyante na feeling nila ang dami nilang kailangan gawin. When in truth, ang konti lang, cluttered lang.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's
Try me when I say that. Kasi sa isip mo, pag pinagsabay-sabay mo na hindi sila organized, shucks, anong uunahin ko? But when you sit down, take 5 minutes and list down and prioritize which one comes first, okay, doable. I can manage the day. You know, we're giving you now practical tips, ha? If you cannot have a mental list of the things to do on a daily basis, what's that?
This is my book of checklists. These are all
thick.
of the tasks.
Man, she's thick.
It is, and take note. Hindi pa tapos ang semester, eto na po karami ang aking. So ba, ayun. O, di ba?
Think about this, kasi we're talking about different age groups. So,
yeah.
We actually can relate that, you know, we have to-do list, pero we gotta show the younger generation what is a to-do list, the actual meaning of it. It's the objective to actually do little things that you don't worry later on. Let's say, you know how, you know, they're already exposed to technology, and there's always an app right there, notes, to-do list,
Notes.
list it
Yes.
down. It actually has icon that you can. There's a little circle. If you done it, just click on it. I mean, you already did it. So also adapting to your surroundings. Especially they kept saying, you know, technology is a new hype now. But at the same time, now you got to use it wisely. So because I do the same thing. I actually use my phone for my to do this. But it's like we said before. It's the discipline. It's the effort. That did you actually do it? Did you just press it because you think that you did it, or you just did it and like forget about it? So that's why you got to make sure that we have to make sure we have different generation that the actual definition of effort, work, and progress.
Well, yeah, you're right. No, since tech savvy na usually ang mga estudyante ngayon, if you don't want the manual list like a notebook or a steno pad, no, or the mental list, you can use your phones. That's actually a practical tip right there from Justin. Ako for now, I'm enjoying Google kasi every time I say, "Hey Google, set me an alarm at 4." See? How can I help? Sabi ni Google agad. Set me an alarm at 4. I need to accomplish this and that. And then just, you know, Google will just remind me without having to literally write it down.
True.
Sorry, Google. I was just bluffing. I really wasn't asking you to set me an alarm at 4. Nag-respond kasi si Google.
Nag-react yung phone ko.
Anyway.
Sa sinabi mo. Nakaset yung sa akin din na ng automated voice. Nag-react siya.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Pero mostly I use another voice activation. And actually you're both of you are correct. If you cannot do the traditional or the written list, elevate a little bit, evolve.
Yeah.
Use technology.
Your phone.
Yeah.
Diba? And then sabi ni Miss Gail, sabi niya, yes, I agree with you, ma'am. Student needs to write down what they need to do first. Oh, setting of your priorities, it's a must. Lalong-lalo na ngayon sa online class. Diba? And you know what? If anything, hindi naman talaga ganun kabigat ang online class kasi merong synchronous at asynchronous eh. You know, you only meet a subject or a teacher once, and then the rest of the week, you just have to complete a task. So if you really know how to prioritize your time, gosh, you have 24 hours in a day. That's more than enough to do a lot of things. Actually, you know, ako dati, when I wasn't working, I spent my 24 hours, even prior to YouTubing, doing nothing. And then I watched this Korean drama, if you're familiar with Itaewon Class, no, from Netflix.
Yeah.
And then there's one quotation from there that said, and I shared this to my students already, na everybody is given the same amount of 24 hours in a day, but not everybody consumes the 24 hours in the same way.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And since I heard that, I maximized my 24 hours. If I had to wake up at 5 a.m. to cook breakfast, exercise whatsoever, and sleep at 9 p.m. just to make sure that I've accomplished everything from 5 a.m. until 9 p.m., then that's my day. No? So, we can only make excuses, pero ang haba ng 24 oras.
Yeah.
No? So, again, discipline and maturity, setting priorities and setting our goals is really the key. Okay? So that is number 3. Third practical tip. Number 4, don't mix up personal or domestic obligations with your academic responsibilities. Okay, I get it, no? Meron tayong mga kanya-kanyang obligations. Siguro yung iba sa atin, may mga asawa na din, may mga anak na din. We have part-time jobs too or full-time jobs din while we are attending our online classes. In the case of Justin, he's working, he's studying, no? So, manageable, kinakaya because of setting the priorities. If anything on this part, ako gusto kong makiusap sa mga kasama natin sa bahay. Like if alam nyo po na merong klase yung mga bata or if they have modules to answer, wag nyo munang utusan.
Yeah.
No? Let them focus on their learning first. Kung meron po silang household chores, after nung klase, doon nyo po ipagawa. Para hindi rin napipressure yung mga bata na pagsabayin yung obligation nila sa bahay at yung responsibilities nila sa school. No?
I think it's
Ako,
important for students to communicate their schedules to their parents or anyone in the household.
yes.
Kasi for example on my end, in front of me is my board. And I put my schedule there. And then kapag naka-highlight yung kulay red, ibig sabihin, do not disturb me during this time. Wala dapat dumadaan sa likod ko or ano. Pero of course, di naman maiiwasan yung mga ganun mga instance. Pero at least I'll say, okay, ito yung schedule ko as much as possible. Please give me that time for myself and to interact with my students. So it's the same thing with students. Wala namang mali na makipag-communicate ka sa mga parents or sa mga tao na nasa household ninyo. For one of the things that this pandemic has taught us for us to talk and to spend time with the family. So, ilabos-busan natin siya.
Okay? Diba? You could, naman with them, you could have a deal with them na, Mom, Dad, sige po, okay lang po ba kung Saturday, Sunday, doon na lang po ako maghugas ng plato? Or magwawalis ng floor or tutulong sa bahay. Yung pong Monday to Saturday.
Gusto siya.
Yung pong Monday to Friday, bigay nyo na lang po sa akin kasi kailangan ko po yun for my studies. Kung ganoon ka-diligent na bata, ha? Pero merong mga iba kasi na wala na ngang obligasyon sa bahay, kulang pa yung 24 hours to do their own studies. Aminin nyo yan. Diba? Everything is provided to you, but you have the audacity to complain that you have no time to accomplish your work. My God to you.
Pinsan, are you mad?
No, I'm not mad.
Gusto ko talaga yun.
I'm not mad. Ayan, sabi dito ni Miss Gail, present. Hindi ko lang sure kung alin ang pinapresent niya. But I wanna say a quick hello to the people who's been with us simula kanina. Let me just scroll up a little bit. Kay Ma'am Murphy Gopez, thank you for joining the live. Kay Nechi Wu, thank you. Kay Ma'am Rona Andrea, thank you so much. Who else? Kay Roseanne Rivera Muli, thank you so much. Joan Alimurong. Jem Juliano is also here. And then Ma'am Jennifer T. Gonzalez is also watching. Roda Munoz Gozon. Sino pa ba? Melvin De Leon, Giancarlo Popatco, Audrey Gil Cura Baking, Gabriel, Jenny Cunanan, and then Jezreel Bansil Bermudo and Jel Lumanlan. Thank you so much for joining us. We're already talking about the tips and tricks on how to survive online learning, and we've just talked about the fourth one. No, don't mix up personal or domestic obligations with your academic responsibilities. Practically, how will you achieve this? Again, setting priorities. No, hindi lang yung domestic or personal obligations, even nga yung self-care or yung mga gusto mong ginagawa like online gaming or pagti-TikTok or whatsoever. Rule of thumb, bottom line, there's time for everything. No? And just set your priorities straight. Yes, Justin.
What I do is actually set up alarms like 30 minutes. If I have my breakfast, I sit on my laptop, I have my phone on my side just for the alarm. So I'll set for 30 minutes. If I can calculate now, okay, it took me 30 minutes to study and then do another 30 minutes. That's 1 hour. So okay, do it again 4 times, 2 hours. That's when I know I take a break. Cause say your mind needs to rewire. Cause say if you clutter your mind, you'll get stressed out. You'll be fatigued. So that's why like you can make time for your person. You can actually adapt through not mixing up personal and domestics scheduling. Cause say you can put them together. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
make sure the alarm actually it makes sure that it's kind of like a little thing that, oh, okay, time's up, let's take a break, another 30 minutes, grab something to eat, and then come back again because it's refreshing your mind, body, and soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I am very happy to say hello to Mami Jack Viray Peñaflor from the USA. Good morning. I'm just not sure what state she's in right now, pero thank you po for watching us from the USA. And then she said, time management is the key. Yes, we do agree. Totoo po. We've mentioned discipline, setting priorities, and of course, time management as well. Isa to sa mga skills na kailangan talagang matutunan ng mga young learners natin ngayong online learning ang scheme ng ating education. Thank you, Mami Jack, for letting us know your thoughts. We appreciate it. And then sabi ni Miss Gail, present, very late, ma'am, a student, a mom, a wife, and an online teacher here. Oh, see? She can manage a lot of things at once because of, setting her priorities straight. Alam niya kung anong dapat gawin. And si Miss Gail, I could attest, she also has her TikTok account. So, kayang-kaya pa niyang mag-TikTok on top of those things, right? Ayan, nasa Charleston, Sacramento daw siya. Thanks for setting up this discussion. Oh, thank you, ma'am, for Mami Jack, for appreciating our effort, no, in making the community united through virtual discussions such as this. You stay safe po. Thank you so much. Ayan. Good morning sa inyo dyan. I think si Mami Jack meron siyang 2 or 3 mga anak na nag-online classes din. Kasi nakikita ko minsan yung mga TikTok din nila sa Facebook. So, I'm pretty sure she could understand where we're coming from dahil nakikita niya sa mga anak niya how it's like to have online classes too. Alright, cool. Nice. Alright, so yun po. Don't mix up personal and domestic obligations. And then number 5, ito, another practical tip na sana pakinggan ng mga estudyante. Save data. Consume your data for online classes rather than social media. Ito minsan kasi maiinis ka na lang na, ma'am, sir, naubusan po ako ng mobile data. And then, ang tatanong mo bakit? Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Come on. Alam mo na ngang nahihirapan ka sa paghanap ng load. So as much as possible, i-consume mo na lang yung load mo sa classes mo. Saturday, Sunday, yon. Sige, kung may natitira kang load, i-allot mo sa social media. Pero again, prioritize mo yung online classes mo. Diba? Kasi ang daling mag-complain, ang hirap maghanap ng solusyon. Diba?
Yeah.
Kasi kami, when we did our survey, most of our students are connected to the internet via mobile data. So we understand na sometimes it's unstable for them and it's enough for them. And for what I know, ang 100 pesos, it'll last for a week. Diba? So syempre, let's admit it, let's be honest about it, huwag tayo magpaka-ipokrito. Yung 100 pesos na yun, we don't spend it only for online classes. Nandiyan na nga si Facebook, si Twitter, si Instagram. So again, prioritize. Saan mo kailangan i-allot yung mobile data mo? Kailangan ba sa gaming, sa social media, or sa online classes mo? Diba? Lucky ka. Ayan, log out. You're lucky if you're connected to Wi-Fi. Diba? But what happens if it's a mobile data?
It's limited.
Mm-hmm. So you have to be practical about it, especially if you come from a family na medyo financially challenged at the moment. try to understand your parents too. They're supplying you the load already. So, be wise on how you spend that. 'Di ba? Sabi ni Mommy Jack, salamat kayo din po. I have 4 kids. Ayun, 4 kids na pala si Mommy Jack. And I am an online trainer and a bunch of chores. O, di ba? Ako, I have high respect talaga for people na nanay, asawa, anak, may trabaho, pero hindi sila magko-complain. Like, you could just, how do you do it? Di ba? Paano nyo nagagawa lahat ng yon?
We just think.
Di ba? Salute talaga, salute. Kaya pag nakikita mo yung minor pa lang yung problema ng iba, kung makapag-complain, kala mo pasan-pasan nila yung mundo. Ha! And then sabi ni Miss Gail, madaming natamaan dyan, ma'am. Yung tipong sasabihin, ma'am, nauubusan po ako ng data. Well, bato-bato sa langit. No? Hindi naman natin sila pinapatamaan. We're just stating, a possibility. No, hindi naman natin generalize, but there's truth to that.
Although it is the new quote-unquote excuse. Kung dati sa face-to-face setup natin, na ang normal excuse, ma'am, sir, nasa clinic po ako, or nasa condition po, or ganyan-ganyan. So that's the typical stuff that we hear. But now, sir, mahina po ang internet ko. Ma'am, medyo po, may nawalan po kami ng connection po kahapon kaya hindi po nakapag-attend. I mean, I know that it might sound so mean or even rude to some extent, pero we can only have the benefit of the doubt nga kung man yun o hindi. Pero I think what's important there is to be responsible nonetheless, whether you have the data or you do not have it. Let's all be responsible. Tingnan tayo lahat. Let's all be responsible. Let's all feel accountable with the actions that we do.
And I'll go back to what I said kanina regarding cheating. If you decided to cheat, who are you fooling? Yourself. And it's the same thing. If you make excuses na wala ka ng data, mahina ang connection, sino bang nawawalan ng opportunity to learn here? It's not your teacher. It's not your classmates. It's you. Diba? So if you did not want to attend your online class and you're missing out on the lessons, that's on you. The teacher could only believe what you tell her or tell him, but you could not validate the truth of your excuse. So, it's on you again. Diba? So, you just have to be responsible. And then sabi ni Mami Jack, that is true. What I do with my kids is I keep asking them, ano ba ang importante sa'yo? The way they divide their time will make you gauge what is their priorities. Exactly. Thank you, Mommy. Mwah! Heart to.
Slow clap. As in super slow clap.
Diba? And I
Pwede
hope
nang i-announce yan sa buong mundo. Or sa buong Pilipinas.
I hope too that all parents are like that. Na instead of, tawag dito, pacifying or making your children lazy, teach them the value of prioritizing. No? Ask them, what's important to you, my love? Ayaw mo mag-aral? Drop na kita.
Actually, nga I admire how blunt that was. Yung question na yun. Na parang, ano mo importante sa'yo? Alam, it's a simply structured question. Pero, nga, no? Mapapaisip
diba?
ka.
And you will see the wisdom in the children din kasi like if they give you a good response na mommy, ang importante po sa akin is my education, then you're assured na yung bata interested mag-aral. But if the child told you, I don't know, mom. Oh my gosh. Then you have to, step in as the parent and tell your child what to do exactly, diba? Given that situation. Just a quick hello kay Ma'am Edna Pangilinan. Hello, Ma'am Edna. I miss you. Thank you for joining the live stream. So, yon, no? Tama. And I hope yung mga estudyanteng nanonood nito ngayong live or even the recorded version of this will be uploaded sa YouTube. Sana makapulot kayo ng mga practical tips on how to survive online learning. And remember, this is not a scheme that is against you. It's actually for you. Diba? Ang daming advantages na nabibring ng online learning. So, take advantage of those advantages. Justin, your thoughts? You're dancing in there.
Let's go
Your
already.
your data for the real one. Save your data.
Yeah, this one is a practical tip
Oh,
kasi.
bro. No, yeah, I'm just saying because it save your data for the important things.
Mhm.
Because I can't really relate kasi sa Pinas na you actually have to buy your and save buy the time for your data kasi ako we are relying on Wi-Fi because they were already provided. So at the same time, if I can relate to you guys, um, be wise. Use your time wisely and use the time for your classes because after that you're free to go. But at the
Mm.
same time, if it's asynchronous, that's your own responsibility. But synchronous, syempre naman, use that time for your synchronous class.
Mhm. Yep. And in all fairness naman sa mga telecommunication company dito sa Philippines, since nagsimula ang online learning, I think they have created bundles na very affordable and how do I say it? Advantageous sa mga online learners. Like for instance, yung TM, Smart, Globe, no? Talagang minura, hindi nila minura. How do I say it in Tagalog? They
Um,
made their services cheaper. Because to say minura nila is another word, right? Sorry.
Laugh ma?
Yeah. They kind of made their services cheaper for the public para lahat talaga maka-access ng mobile data. Diba? And the
Accessible.
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 Mm-mm. And the longevity of the promo, mas pinahaba pa nila. So, alam mo talagang, the country is one with the educational system or the department na talagang ma-implement ng online classes. If not perfectly, at least with lesser difficulties. Right? Okay, now let's go to number 6. Take advantage of the simple technology you have in your fingertips. Man, I tell you, nung kami talaga yung nag-aaral, ang internet, simplihan pa lang. We don't even have the mobile phone that you have now. Yung Android, wala. Ang meron lang kami noon, 3310. Wala kaming access sa internet using those basic phones. No? If we wanted to gain knowledge, we would really go to the library. No? And we cannot even complain to our teachers that they're asking us too much. No. If we do that, oh my gosh. You have to defend yourself the entire time. No, bakit ka nagko-complain? It's your duty and obligation to do those tasks as a student. But now, man, I'm telling you, you have technology right at your fingertips. Take advantage of that in a good way.
Yes.
No? So kapag may assignment, wag copy-paste, wag mag-plagiarize. Mag-research ng madami.
Actually do the work.
Mhm. 'Di ba? And halimbawa nga, hindi ka makakonect, pwede namang sabihin kay teacher na hindi ka makakonect and then try to ask your classmates what happened or your teacher din, no? Pwede mong tawagan, pwede mong i-chat. Actually, ngayon nga, parang wala nang distinction yung Facebook sa personal account at saka sa professional account eh. They get mixed up already. So, take advantage
Basta
of the
ako,
technology you have.
no. Disiplinado ako sa mga ganyan. Pag Facebook lang. Pag sinabi ko hanggang MS Teams lang tayo, ano lang. Then sabi lang,
Well,
ang reminder ko lang, if it's a life or death situation, sabi ko gano'n. Please message me, but if it's not, don't.
then don't.
Kung nag-message
Yeah, but basically,
he misses you.
yeah, go ahead, Justin.
What if they just message you like, "I miss you, teacher. Can we? Can kind of like, in a way of saying,
Oh.
no, what I'm saying, they miss you, but it's kind of encourage you. Can you just give me a good grade?
Nah.
Kind of
Nah.
See?
No.
yeah.
Those things don't work with me.
Facebook is actually very it's very risky because I would rather have it in a different platform that is professional. That's why that's why with Facebook, I don't know why they allow that to make it how personal mixed with business. Like that's why I was making a joke out of that. That's trying to transition to that. There's times when it's professional and there's times when it's personal because you will come across because dito sa America, there's always situation that happens that way. Na it becomes na a debate na could we let our students have our personal phone number? And I'm talking about not college level, but like high school level. So that's why it's very controversial and it's very serious. So that's why talaga there's different apps and platforms that you can use, for business time. That's why we have Zoom. Zoom is the optional way that you can communicate with your professor one on one or your teachers one on one, and that's when you know that okay, this is serious. You gotta act. Don't act playful. Now this is actually the part. Now, okay, I can't fool around. I can't joke. So sometimes it's recorded. Why?
You're
Yeah,
actually
now that
correct,
you
Jose.
meant,
That's
go
the
ahead.
sorry, Kat. That's the mindset that I'm trying to instill sa mga bata. Pero yun nga, I think just to agree with the with her situation as she's really communicating with students. Ako kasi uh, when I communicate with them using other apps, syempre kailangan mo i-take into consideration yung mga batang nag-learning packet din. So kung hindi sila makapag-avail ng situation like for example sa using Zoom or using MS Teams. So kung mas convenient sa kanila ang Messenger, of course, kailangan mong i-accommodate pa rin siya. Pero syempre, you need to level the ano ba talaga yung context niya, yung context ng
Yes.
usapan niya.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yes, you
ako
were
lang,
saying,
I just wanted to react to what Justin said na now that he mentioned the situation in the US, the more that we in the Philippines should appreciate the situation that we have kasi binibaby na nga tayo eh. You know what I'm saying? Napaka-convenient na lahat para sa atin. Everything is provided. Even our social media accounts are used for our professional accounts already. The numbers of the professors are given to students already so that they could immediately contact them if necessary. So, what excuse do we have? No? Yung Facebook, ina-allow siya because for one, it has, if I'm not mistaken, you may correct me about this if I'm wrong, free yung messenger niya na kahit mababa yung mobile data mo, you could still communicate.
Yeah. Very yun, yeah. And
So,
but like,
diba? So,
are free too. That's why I was like, Facebook, kasi it's risky. Kasi you see how other people will communicate you. Or like, oh, okay, this person was this, but outside of this, meaning this is your professor or your teacher on Facebook, but on personal life, oh, okay, and then they do, they'll have that breaking that barrier. Nah, it's not professional anymore. That's why there's student teacher relationship. That's that kind of controversial issue that happens. That's Facebook is not a good platform to use for schooling.
yeah. But yeah, we could only take advantage of the avenues or the platforms that we have. But I hope we take advantage of them in a good way.
That's what I'm saying.
Diba? In a good way and with boundaries pa rin. I think that's the operative word there.
Boundaries.
Right. We have a comment right here from Sir Janilo Mababa. Doc, sabi niya, maglolokohan lang kami ni Ma'am KV. 안녕하세요, 선생님. 잘 지내요? Sometime I'll invite you for another live stream. If you're free, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know. Okay? So that is number 6. Now let's go to number 7. This is another practical way of looking at the situation. Remind yourself that this is only temporary. It's a fact, no? Especially now that Pfizer and other companies are already on the process of exporting vaccines across the world, no? So eventually, give it some time, magkakaroon na rin ng cure in the Philippines and we could all go back to our normal lives sooner than we could think of.
But the real question, what is normal? Because we're affected by this for over a year now. How do you classify normal? So what I would say, I don't agree on this. It's not only temporary.
Normal would be... Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm just saying, like, what do you mean by... I want you to answer that for me.
Yeah, normal would be going back to the traditional type of learning, like face-to-face. Classrooms will be used again. Students will go to school again. Although I always tell my mom that if there will be an option na mag-normalize na ang lahat and you will ask me which one I prefer, online classes or face-to-face, I'd stick to online classes. So kung may mga estudyanteng magsistick sa online, then I'll teach them online. And if there are students who would opt to face-to-face, they go to school and attend the class. Sana magkaroon ng ganun ng option that if we go back to the normal setup, hindi tanggalin yung online.
Okay.
Because I think meron ding mga taong nag-i-enjoy sa online.
Exactly. Kasi ako, that's why I had to ask you that. Kasi our normal, kasi when I went back to going in class, kasi I happened I actually went to go half going to class and half going online. So I enjoyed going to class just for a few hours, then come home to do the work online. Because regardless, yung assignments ko are already online, and my materials are online. So it gives me a sense, not reality. Okay, I can step out of the house, or the area I'm studying in. Oh, okay, I can readjust.
Mm-hmm. And it's also practical kasi like for one, ako, I don't have to commute far. I don't have to dress up. I don't have to spend for my food outside. You know, everything is available at home. So, para sa akin, if there's an option lang naman na when we go back to the normal setup, sana ma-maintain din yung online. Para yung mga kayang i-afford yung online, they have that option too. That's just me.
Um,
Um,
We got Soju back.
kasi there are two separate ideas. I'm trying to in my screen right now, nasa gitna ako. So, ibig sabihin ako yung taga-merge. Anyways,
yeah, literally.
For one thing, actually correctly, that we need to learn from our experiences with our experience with COVID-19. Okay? So, meaning, in terms of the online education, it will, to a certain extent, stay. Kasi meron tayong nakikitang benefit sa kanya.
Yes.
Not everyone sees it, but there are people who sees it. Unfortunately, that's one aspect of going back to the item na parang remind yourself that this is only temporary. I'm caught in between na it's important that you consider the situation or yung pagiging end ng situation indefinitely. Kasi baka sa sobrang mong iniisip na, uy, temporary lang to, magkakaroon na ng vaccine and so on and so forth, you may be prone to overconfidence and we become so chill, so relaxed, na parang, sige, lalabas naman ako, sige, without a mask, and then without a face shield, kasi lang ko, darating na, So, we need to still understand the value of responsibility and accountability for each other's safety, nonetheless. Yes, the process of the discovery of the vaccine is getting there. There's still a lot. It's still, well, maraming proseso, but still we're getting there. We're trying. But we must not be too overconfident about yung this vaccine na yun. Oh, God knows kung ano magiging after effects niya o kung ano man. Pero yun nga, we need to still become mindful with the current situation nonetheless.
Yeah. And I guess what you're trying to say is be realistic then with our expectations. That yes, this may be temporary, but it might take a long while before we really go back to normal.
Kaya nga,
Right.
doon yung hugot ninyo na baka mag-extend yung online learning. Kasi we don't know when will it be 0% na talaga. Kasi yun yung habol natin, 0. Kapag meron man siyang 0.1 or 0.001,
that's gonna be risky.
Kailangan pa rin natin siyang i-contain. Dapat 0 ka agad. Or basta yung goal natin 0, hindi man pa agad. Yung goal natin is to have 0 cases. All over the globe, ha?
Yeah, but you know what? Considering that this is our first year implementing online classes and we're not doing so bad about it, then I'd say the transition period, we're surviving it already. You know? Should it last longer than a year? I think we can do better next year.
And yun nga, it's a learning experience. So everything that we do right now, if we fail, if we commit mistakes, we need to understand and accept those mistakes. But by another semester, maybe another academic year, if we still have the same experience, we have to learn from what has been done already.
Mhm.
So, bawa kung nakita niyo na meron kayong nakitang to moderate yung integrity ng mga bata, or at least we can apply that sa next semester. What if in terms of
Mhm.
scheduling, apply that to the next semester or to the next
Yeah.
academic year. Okay?
Yeah, essentially there's no way to go but, top, move forward, improve everything. That's the beauty of starting things uh in an unstable way. Nakikita mo yung room for improvement talaga. Right? Yeah, so that's number 7. Now let's go to number 8. Use the same tenacity you had for traditional classes to online classes. Because why not? Ano bang
Why not?
pinagkaiba ng online? Di ba? I mean, ano bang pinagkaiba ng online sa traditional? It's just the setup. It's just the location. Everything else, it's the same. May teacher, may estudyante. If anything, may impediment lang. Yung restriction ng connectivity. Yon. But in terms of delivery of content, no, mas easy nga ngayon kasi pinaikli ang syllabus, pinakonti ang contents. 'Di ba? Unlike with the traditional na talagang everyday pumapasok ka, talagang yung syllabus, ang dami niyang laman. Ngayon, the only practical ones are included. So, if you are a tenacious student when it was a traditional setup, why not now that it is the online class? Diba?
Mhm.
You don't have to be discouraged about it. I mean, yeah, it's a new thing for us, no? But it's not a dangerous thing.
I think also yung social interaction. That's the only
Mhm.
talaga. Kasi that sometimes people love to learn more about one another, that they
Mm.
have personal connection, but also bringing ideas into what, like for group work, like we like to share through speaking,
Mm.
like in person. Let's say having them on,
Mhm.
it's not like the same because it's just a camera facing you, and then people can see you better. If it's one-on-one personal, that means you can feel that emotions. Now, oh, okay, this guy's actually being real, or
Mhm.
that somebody's faking it. Now, okay, I'll just take your idea and then put it into mine, but I'm not gonna give you a consideration, or I don't give you the credit.
Yeah. I guess nandiyan din yung consideration natin of multiple intelligences and learning styles. Diba? Because sometimes, some people take advantage of technology kung sila yung visual learners, right? But if they're more of the social types of learners, yung mga interpersonal that they need to engage with other people for them to be able to learn better, ayun, nagkakaroon tayo ng problema doon because of those kinds of restrictions. But doon napapasok yung dynamics ni teacher kung paano niya i-cater lahat ng types of learning without really just tawag ito, focusing on those who enjoy visual learning, 'di ba? Pwede namang magkaroon ng interaction among them. Pwede mo silang i-group like in Zoom. Merong mga breakout classrooms,
There's
right? So they could interact better with one another. So there's a way around it naman. Yun nga lang, it's kind of challenging because, there's technology and technology is not absolute. Meron at meron talaga siyang mga hindi may bibigay sa atin.
Sa akin, this is just my based from kasi meron akong kumustahan sa mga estudyante. Whenever I could, ini-insert ko siya na relative dun sa mga lesson ko. And then with the many kumustahan sessions na nagawa ko na, there's always particular themes na laging lumilitaw. One is that, kagaya ng sabi ni Justin, they love to interact face-to-face. And they are in, they are in denial with the current situation. Yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, wala silang sense of reality. Na parang, ito yung meron tayo ngayon. Wala tayong magagawa. Kahit gusto mo mag-interact sa ibang mga tao, we cannot increase the risk of you contracting anything relative to COVID-19. So that's one. And another thing is that, well, of course, hindi ako makarelate sa kanila dito kasi experience ko siya or na-experience ko din siya. Pero ang isang lumilitaw din na theme nila is that, for example, for our first year students, they were not able to attend their high school graduation.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, sabi ko, so siguro hindi nila ramdam pa ang pagiging college, maybe, during their college
Yeah.
as a first year student. Kasi wala silang anong tawag doon? I forgot that term. Parang pang-transition, yung pang-affirm na tapos ka na, so move on na
Yeah.
tayo sa susunod.
Walang commencement or walang...
Kumbaga kung relationship yan, wala siyang closure.
Yeah.
Parang ganon. So, kaya wala no choice. I have to really understand the themes that are coming out from the students. Pero at the same time, even though I need to understand, I also need to instill with them na, unfortunately, wala tayong magagawa. I mean, we can...
Some people not only cannot experience this from older generations. So, example, you said high school graduation or high school prom. Yung talagang last dance before becoming getting out of high school, kasi
I can't relate with prom. I just ate. I was just there sitting in the dining table eating.
Yeah, I guess what the both of you are trying to say is dahil ang graduation nila was online and there was no prom or whatsoever, they kind of feel that they missed out on the most important events of their lives prior to going to college.
Kaya hindi nila maramdaman.
Pero the thing is, again, this is just temporary. Pwede naman nating ma-experience yung mga bagay na yon on different situations when time permits it already eh. 'Di ba? And ako, I'm an optimistic person. Rather than looking at the fact na hindi ako nakapag-graduate yung normal graduation, I'd be proud to say that I am the first generation to ever graduate online. Like when you look back and tell your grandchildren like, no, we're dope, man. Nung panahon namin, there was pandemic. How did we do our graduation? Online, man. Ganun kami kaastig. That's another way of looking at it. Rather than sulking and saying na, ay, hindi kami nakapag-graduate yung totoong graduation. Hindi mo na feel. Trust me, whether the graduation is virtual or real, like the traditional one, you still graduated. You still got your diploma. So what's the fuss? You know? So yeah.
Hopefully they are able to understand the context of what we are talking about. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you know what? These things that we're sharing to them, sabi ko nga, these are simple, practical ways on how to survive. As long as we're on the online classes, at least itong mga to, they could be able to help you how you could manage throughout. Right? So this is number 8. Use the same tenacity you had for traditional classes to online classes. Second to the last, stop being a snowflake. The world is not all about you. Stop being self-entitled. You're not the only person going through worst. No, seriously.
It is true.
Seriously.
If your favorite word is audacity, my favorite word is snowflake.
No, for real. Let's just give a context to this. Kasi ganito, I'm not saying all students are like this, but there are some. Ang daling mag-complain, ang daling mag-blame ng ibang tao or situation without even realizing gaano ba kalaki ang problema mo. Ikaw, may gadget ka, mahina ang internet connection mo, but you can manage. Nakakapag-attend ka ng online classes mo. Probably you have breakfast at home. You have family who support you. What about those who never had a chance to education? What about those na talagang nagugutom na walang kinakain? Diba? What about those na naapektuhan ng COVID-19? What I'm trying to say here is, kung meron kang problemang pinagdadaanan, the world is not all about you. May mga ibang taong mas worse yung pinagdadaanan nila sa'yo. So, kung malayo sa bituka yung pinagdadaanan mo, please lang yan. Please do not dwell on it. Okay? Huwag tayong masyadong emotionally weak. Although, with all due respect, na hindi pare-pareho ang kapasidad ng tao when it comes to handling emotional problems, no? I'm not trying to offend anyone here. It's just that if the problem is not too much to handle, don't be such a brittle person. Huwag kang snowflake, no?
I think just to contextualize it, although yes, sa Pilipinas walang snow. So bigyan natin, just explain why what are we referring to to a snowflake. Ang sabi
Snowflake.
lang ni V is that just like a snowflake, as intricate and as beautiful as it is, it's fragile, it's brittle. Na kahit konting galaw lang sa isang part ng snowflake na yun, masisira siya. And unfortunately, there are several authors or several researchers that would justify or at least claim that the current generation of youth that we are taking care and catering right now are what they consider the snowflake generation.
Yes.
Kasi kahit na parang konting
Problema lang.
even problema lang, they would react, they would rant, they would think that everything is all about them. See? So take note, kindly research that and you will find out what I mean. And as much as I am a youth advocate, I need to establish as well that na parang this is something na kailangan we need to rise above. The youth today that should rise above. Na parang, yes, you are one of the generation na talagang fortunate. Like, literally, guys, you are considered as the most, if not the most, talagang fortunate in terms of the technological advances that human existence ever invented or have.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of your AQ, in terms of your EQ, in terms of your emotional stability, and in terms of how you are feeling egotistic about yourself, I think we need to fix that bit by bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Kaya, let's, sa akin kasi, ang take ko dito sa item na yun is that, tama naman sinabi ni Vina, it's not just about you. Think of the other people. And then also consider this, na all of us are experiencing the same situation, yet the experience personally is different.
Yes.
The journey in itself is different. The needs that we have for particular issues or problems are very different. So, kailangan natin i-take into account yung quote-unquote empathy with others, putting ourselves in the shoes of others na parang, uy, si sir, ano kayang pakiramdam ng pagiging teacher na online yung situation
Yes.
at ito yung nangyayari. And vice versa, teacher, ano pakiramdam ni Mr. Ganito, yung estudyante ko, na wala siyang data pero nakakaahon pa rin siya, ay nakakapag-submit pa rin siya, or let's put a negative, na hindi pa rin siya nakakapag-submit ng mga requirements. Okay? So, nagigets yung point na parang hindi siya one-sided ng empathy. Dapat nag-exchange tayo ng empathy. And eventually, that empathy will not just settle into empathy. Because once help and care is instilled in that lineup, then you practice compassion.
Yes.
So, diba, nagiging motivational speaker na ako.
Very good.
Compassion. Kasi yun yung kailangan natin ngayon. We cannot just settle na let's be patient and let's be lenient. It's not just one way. Kailangan, yung other party, kailangan ibalik din niya rin yun. Kasi we need to understand each other. Let's be compassionate for each other. Kung gaano man yung compassion na pinapakita natin sa mga nasalanta sa bagyo dito sa Pilipinas, let's show that every single day as much as we could. Kung kaya natin. Kasi importante kasi yun. Sobrang importante na yun.
Basically, you have to help yourself too, no? Yung, okay, fine, you have weaknesses, no? You have struggles, pero don't dwell on those weaknesses and those struggles. Rather, you build your character. Sabi nga nila, a situation such as this, it either makes a character or it reveals a character. Or breaks a character. So, makes, reveals, or breaks. Yung tatlong yon, no? A character. So, whichever you choose, no? Help yourself. No? Sorry. Help yourself.
Self-care.
Kasi, yeah, no, I mean, you don't have to be fragile about things. Sabi ko nga, pag daplis lang, pag malayo sa bituka, pera ang problema, walang connection, those things, madaling solusyonan. Ang importante, buhay ka. Wala kang COVID, no? Safe ka. Okay? So don't be too fragile. Wag kang masyadong snowflake. Yes, Justin.
No, I'm just diagnosing. I'm just like observing and just learning about in your perspectives, because it makes sense that a lot of people are different. You know, different ways, different things, the way they interact is different. You have to be open-minded. Na think about a scenario, because people don't think that. Not I know you guys clarified the word empathy, but also try to live in their shoes, not be in their shoes, but actually live through it. Like how see your relatives in the hospital fighting COVID. What is that emotion like build up there? You can't even process that. Yung ibang tao, they're complaining on one thing. I can't connect here. Well, this person on your right cannot connect with their own family members because they're in their bed in the hospital, and they're in the hospital bed during COVID, fighting through the problem of COVID. So that's what people, like I said, experience. Trying to find a way na, even if like one problem, you feel like it's a big problem. No, hindi. Think about the person on your right or left. Na they're dealing with this worse than you. So a movie that I love watching is called Never Back Down. And a trainer told his pupil that whatever happens, control the outcome. It's always within you.
That's true. I agree. Meron ding movie sa Netflix, the movie of Aga Mulak and Bea Alonso. I forgot the title of it.
What's
Shoot. I forgot the title of it. Pero yung pinaka-introduction ni Aga Mulak doon, he was saying na ang daling mag-complain ng bawat tao without even realizing na yung nakakasalubong nila or nakakasalamuha nila day in, day out, yun na pala yung huling araw nila. Or that could have been their last breath, but yet they're not complaining about things. Alam mo yon? So, again, no, integrating it sa number 9. Instead of complaining, instead of blaming others or the situation or the government for the lacks of the government and looking at the glitches, the lapses, no? Huwag tayo masyadong self-titled. Privileged na nga tayo eh. No? Kung tutuusin. Kasi there are other countries na hindi kayang i-afford tong na-afford na natin to. No matter how minimal, you know, the kind of technology that we have. Imagine Africa. Nothing at all. Hunger. Africa. No, tayo, kinakaya pa naman natin. So, try to develop that tenacity in you. No, the courage, the moral fiber. Nakakayanin mo kahit ano pang maging problema mo. And this is just an online class. It's doable. Right? Manageable. Okay, so that is number 9. Now let's go to the last one, number 10. I thought this is very important. I just want to say a quick hello to Dang Kotaruk. Hello, Moshi. Ask for help and choose your mental and physical health more than anything else. Okay? So, when things go rough at talagang hindi mo na kinakaya, no? Ito, it's fine. Ma'am, sabi mo, never be a snowflake. I tried, ma'am, but I'm at my breaking point. What will I do to survive online classes? Ask for help. Ask your teacher for help. Ask your parents for help. Ask your friends, your classmates, no? Your community, your network. Do not hesitate. And if you feel like there's too much load already burdening you, whether that be mental or physical, take a break. It's all right to take a break, no? Yung 30 minutes lang na nap, yung 15 minutes lang na nap, or even yung meditation lang na 10 minutes na wala kang iniisip, na wala kang pakialam, like you go blank, no? Those things, they help already. So, halimbawa, hindi mo talaga kayang ma-afford yung education mo for now. Ako, ito ang sinasabi ko sa iilan. Don't force it. Kung kinakailangang mag-drop ka muna, for the right reason ha, Like for example, financially hirap ang parents mo, ikaw din wala kang trabaho, nahihirapan kayong i-sustain yung everyday expenses nyo. I feel like the best way to handle it is to drop out for a while. Okay? Kasi ang pressure pumapasok siya, I feel, kapag ang bata gusto niya yung timeline niya kasabay nung timeline nung batchmates niya. Okay? But in truth, hindi naman pwedeng ganoon palagi. So kung hindi talaga kakayanin, wag puwersahin. Meron namang ibang paraan. So siguro for now, take a break, no? Sa bahay ka muna, help out sa parents. But if there's another way for you to help out, then as much as possible, prioritize mo rin yung education mo kasi sayang din naman, especially if it's a free education. Diba? So, wag masyadong pressurein yung sarili, especially the mental health. It's very important nowadays. Your thoughts, guys?
I think with what you've said, ang sinasabi mo lang ang sinasabi mo lang is that in the face of when you're facing your own battles, wherein everyone is facing their own battles, it's okay to surrender, especially
Yes.
when you've done enough. You don't need to do everything. You don't need to do 150% of it. No. As long as you believe that you've done enough, pero feeling niyo parang kulang pa, it's okay to surrender. Especially now that the World Health Organization would consider that the next issue after the pandemic is all parang stabilized is that of everyone's mental health. Remember, kaya sabi ko sa inyo that everyone is fighting their own battles. Even that you see me, V, Justin, as parang strong individuals saying what they say, we are not.
Mhm.
And I'll be honest with
We
you,
have breaking
how many
points.
times I broke down during this pandemic, you don't know how many. And even the members inside of your household, you don't know the things that are bothering inside of their hearts and inside of their heads. So you need to be, yun nga, parang kagaya yung sinabi namin ni Justin kanina, to put yourself in other people's shoes. You need to understand that dynamic. Okay? And only when that happens, parang nai-instill mo, parang napapasok, nai-insert mo na yung value of pag may nangyari na at alam kong medyo nahihirapan na siya, doon ako papasok. That's why compassion is very important. On your end, if you are the one experiencing that, you're at your breaking point already, there's your experience is valid. Remember that your emotion, your thoughts are valid. Okay? Pero kapag alam mo talagang ang kailangan maging mindful doon sa situation na yun is that may tulong. May tutulong sa iyo. Kahit tingin mo walang tutulong, merong tutulong sa iyo. You are never alone. Okay? That's something that we need to establish here, right? As we experience everything that is happening around us. I know it's hard for everyone. Yun nga, parang, sige ma'am, before you I know it's hard for everyone. Sige ma'am, go.
I just wanted to say that even if we said that they shouldn't be snowflakes, no, it's also important that you acknowledge your weaknesses and your breaking points. And when you do, you could either ask for help or you could take a break.
Yeah.
Okay? Ang importante dito kasi you learn how to bounce back. Hindi naman kailangan perfect yung journey mo. Right? Hindi naman kailangan always performing ka sa klase mo. May mga araw na tamad ka din, hindi mo naiintindihan yung lesson, and that's fine. What's important is, after that experience, after that bad day, you recover. Okay? The process, the experience is never linear. Laging may ups and downs yan. No, it's not just a one-way street na, yeah, and curves, a lot of them. Diba?
And roundabouts.
Circles. It's a maze. Diba? But the thing is that you have to be aware of how you feel already. Kung mentally exhausted ka na, damn it, take a break. Diba? Kaming mga teachers nga, when we're mentally, I think I told my students about this too. When I'm really mentally exhausted already, I curse. Diba? That's the only way for me to unleash the tension that I have. Diba? Or I have to play ML, or I have to do TikTok, or I have to watch Netflix, whatsoever, no? Bottom line, don't be too hard on yourself. Okay? Don't be a snowflake, but don't be too hard on yourself. Ganun yon. Okay? Justin, your
Hi,
thoughts, man?
I'm still here. Hello.
You
Yes,
are.
always ask for help. If you're being a snowflake, you gotta make sure that you shouldn't be a snowflake at the first place. Really, genuinely ask. Because how would you learn if you become a snowflake? That's just an excuse. But if it's a genuine help, that's what we're here for.
Mhm.
Also, take care of yourself, mind, body, soul, and spirit. I said we are dealing with the same path but are different ways. But at the same time, you have to look out. You have to remind yourself, okay, take a break, man. Like, ako, I just got sick because here in US, the weather changed, so it got colder. So that's what we're battling too. I got sick because of the cold, so I was coughing and sneezing. So it was just one day. I was like, okay, actually, you know what? I've been working too hard of work and school. I need to take a break. I need to have my bed rest, my my, my healthy foods. Yun talaga, I formed like, wow, I need to take care of. I can't be Mr. Justin here. We're not robots. We
You're
are,
not.
we are our own selves. Not talagang we're fragile, but we'll become stronger when
Mhm.
we fix each other again. Kasi at the same time, I love my favorite song, "Collide" by Howie Day. Even the best
Mm.
fall times, even the strong words seems to rhyme. Wrong word seems to rhyme. That's the song already. Yes, I love that phrase when he said, "Even the best fall down times." That means that they're not always perfect. So yeah, ask for help, communicate, and talaga need to press the button to tap out to sleep. Yeah, press that button.
Mhm. Yep. And I think every institution naman, academic institution, they have their hotlines or their contact persons as to when students need someone to talk to. Like in my part-time job, I wouldn't mention the school anymore. We have, I think, three mobile numbers that are always available for students, which they could call. No, every time they feel the need to talk to someone, if they're mentally breaking down or physically tired. And you have the guidance office too. If you could not see them physically, you could connect with them virtually too. No? Ang daming outlets. Or you could have your teachers, your classmates too, to talk to. Ang dami. Basically, wag mo ring solohin yung problema mo. Share it. No, yung alam nyo minsan hindi nyo man kailangan ng advice, the mere fact na vent out niyo siya, yung na-voice out niyo siya, may nakinig lang kahit walang pakialam, basta na-i-release niyo lang. Sometimes, it takes a lot of load already from you. Diba? So, learn how to do that. Learn how to be vulnerable. Not a snowflake, but vulnerable. Okay. Yon. And accept your weaknesses at one point. Mm-mm. Kami, we can do live, but the thing is, we also have our breaking points. Kaya nga ako nagpakulay ng buhok ngayon kasi I wanted to, wake myself up na parang, this is okay. You still got this. No? Don't lose your swagger. Something like that. You just have to be creative as to how you will uplift yourself. You know what I mean?
Keep you focused.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So, final take on our topic. Personal resiliency, academic grit, how to survive the online classes. Before we wrap it up.
Who's gonna do it first?
Ano ba yung gagawin natin?
Uh, ako, kasi I'm
You start.
a working student. Like I mentioned before, time management is talagang you gotta balance within not only your personal life, your work life, but also your academic life, but also like your self talaga. Because how can you control anything else if you can't take care of yourself? Tsaka also, uh, communication. When you know you can't do it, ask for help, somebody, because that's when you know like you're okay. Self evaluation. And like with me, hey, I work and I go to school. I do online, I go in person. I have a lot of things and help out my family. But what I've learned throughout the years of schooling and learning, I learned how to balance it out. Work and school and social life. Take care of
Mhm.
yourself.
Nicely put. Merci beaucoup. What about you, Sir Jero?
Hirap mag-contextualize. Wait lang. Sige. Bahala na. Parang nabuhos ko na yata yung lahat
Labo-labo
ng
na.
motivational speech ko kanina. Anyways, in the presence of fear, courage is evident. In the movie Coach Carter, as I quote, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. You playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it is in every one of us. And as we let our own lights shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I think that sums up everything that we've talked about regarding responsibility, accountability, compassion, and being able to do some change in our lives. Even though we are experiencing COVID 19 or experiencing online classes or whatever problem that you yourself are experiencing, things happen for a reason. What we can only do is, yes, be affected, but afterwards, do something about it.
Mhm. All right, I'm out. Bye, guys. And I thank you. What am I supposed to say now? You guys gave already two good wrap ups. All right, those words from you guys are beautiful. Yeah. What do I say? I have to agree. We're on a topic of resiliency and academic grit. Now that we are facing the online classes and whatnot. Well, let's be practical about it. When life throw you lemons,
Make lemonade.
make lemonades.
Huh?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or lemon
Seriously.
pie.
Or lemon cookie. Let's have some variations. Or lemon cake. Now, seriously though, if life throws you lemons, make lemonade. Obviously, 2020 is not a friendly year to all of us. No, it's thrown a lot of lemons already, right? It's a sour year for everybody. One of the things that people find um, difficult to deal with would be the online classes because we are all adjusting. Okay, we're all getting ourselves used to the theme. So while we're at it, might as well enjoy it, no? Rather than complain about it and look at the glitches and the problems and the loopholes and whatnot. This is a learning curve for all of us. And it could either lead to making education better in the future or worse, right? So while we're learning online, we don't only learn academically, we don't only learn the subjects being taught to us, but let's try to build our character too.
Yes.
Kasi we've been through worse. 2020 is the worst. Who knows what happens in 2021? This might just be a rehearsal, or, you know, it could be the worst, and then 2021 will be a better year for everybody. But hey, you have to toughen up. Toughen up. Okay? So ako yun lang. We're already at it. This is the situation already. Put your tough gear on. Because we'll never know what ride we'd get next year. Right. So there you go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. We started 7 p.m. and it's already 10:08. Exactly right on time. No, we're not too late, not too early. It's been a month since we've done this. hopefully we could find another time to do this. I'm really apologize because I've been busy with work and whatnot, and
Same
Drew
here.
too, and Justin as well with his studies and work.
Yep.
So yeah, any shout outs, final messages, greetings, whatsoever?
Justin?
Please do not be a snowflake. Ask for help. And yeah, shout out for everybody who are doing fine and surviving. And please take care of your loved ones. That is important.
Sa
Drew.
akin, hug your loved ones. Yun ang sasabihin ko. Hug them.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's a Saturday tomorrow. Bitawan nyo ang mga librong yan, ang mga module na yan, ang mga notebook na yan, ang mga lesson plan na yan. Enjoy your weekend. Spend time with your family. You have another Monday to cope up with next week, so have some quality time with your family this weekend. Enjoy yourselves, guys. We'll see you then. Once again, next time, this is Channel V with my resident co-hosts, Drew and Justin. Thank you so much for watching us and for listening to us. A recorded version of this live stream will be on YouTube in just a bit. Bye, everybody. Mwah. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. We love ya. Mama.
See you later.
Bye!
Bye!